Schedule. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Swahili Nation Network. And don't forget to subscribe and like the show and share it with your friends and your family. Sorry for the delay for today. I'm at least 9 minutes late. But we're going to keep going with the discussion that we had last time. And the points that we discussed on, and we're going to add a little bit of taste to it, and then we're going to continue with the topic. So the topic where you discuss with me is potential in Africa. So what is the potential? We've tried to see that before, and we've also talked about what potential actually means and what potent actually means. So we're gonna keep going with that one, and we're gonna like now there is a potential, and no one can deny that. Not us, not the West, not IMF, not World Bank, or not anyone. But uh, where do we go with this potential? How do we use it? How do we utilize it? So to just recap and what we've been discussing before, so my topic still remains Africa is poor by choice. I can bravely say that, and still challenge you and myself and all Africans in Africa to change and be the change and be the agents of change in the entire Africa. So we're back again on Thursday's show. Again, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and invite your friends, people who have unique ideas, entrepreneurs, innovators, creators, and all those people you think who are important to the show and important to the ideology of One Africa. Just invite them in, and uh, anytime soon you'll be joining. I hope I'll see new faces and also many people participating in the live stream today. So I'm just going to give you a quick recap. So my idea is basically Africa is poor by choice. So that's where I started from, and now it's then how it relates to like I even mentioned the Jacob and Esau story and how it relates to African poverty and what we're blessed with and how we cannot see it. So most of us, so when I started, I said sleeping on treasure and begging for bread. So basically, this is what Africa is doing so far, and the entire Africa is doing so far. So we're actually laying down on gold, diamond, coltan, copper, cacao, climate, the weather condition that we have in Africa. It's so favorable, but we're not still utilizing it properly. We haven't done so much for Africa with the African resources that we have so far. So that's where that's why I just want to recap everything that we discussed. And people joined in. Actually, thank you for joining in. Again, don't forget to also uh, join tonight and just be the influence too. We're hosting the show, but it's your show. Don't forget that one, because this show is for all Africans. This show is for all Africans from all corners of Africa who want to unite Africa with the ideology of One Africa. That's the concept that we're running with, and that we want everyone who supports this idea to join in, and just let's be the change that Africa needs. This is our motto so far for Swahili Nation Network and also for One Africa. This is our motto. This is what we've been saying, and I think it's time that we realize that our potential needs to be tapped. So I want everyone to join in today, and I want everyone to be part of this show and contribute to the show. So basically, we've discussed many things last week. So I've also mentioned how the British started their colonization in the time. their motto and their logo was, they said, uh, the sun will never set on the British Empire. And that actually amazes me most of the time when I think about it. And you know, I know we're in a troubling situation, in a place where, you could say, like, are we there yet? Are we Africans going to be uniting Africa? Are we gonna, like, take Africa to the next level? Are we really there yet? Where the circumstances, if you're from Kenya, the circumstances in Kenya will give you a kind of hope. It makes you lose your hope, because there are times I lose my hope too. So I want to remind you that, despite the turbulence that you're feeling, despite the storm that is going around, I just want you to remember one thing. We're here for a purpose. We're not here for our eternal life. We're not here for forever. We're here to impact, influence, impart our understanding, impart our ideology to people, and finally, at the end of the day, we leave. If you ask me, as an Ethiopian, there are times that everything I stood for felt actually very hard to believe in. There are times that, even now and today, there are places, conditions, things that are happening in Ethiopia where you say, like, how is Africa going to be one whenever you see what's happening in the entire Ethiopia, in the religious area, in the politics, in the challenges of life, and all those things that we're facing. So basically, despite all those things that we are facing in our lives, let's take a moment that there is a potential. And whenever you have a potential, whenever there is a capacity in you, and if you're living in a lesser understanding area, for example, this is where we live. This is Africa. So in Africa, people think their own people can't solve the problem, and even if they did, they prefer other people to solve their problems. That's what I observe in my day-to-day activity. It has to be the white man, or European or American, telling them that, yeah, you can do it. You can do this and you can do that. It has to be that one. And that's where we lost our self-respect for our own people. And that's where we need to really work on back again. This is where we need to stand together and say, like, you know what? I know that it's tough to believe in each other. It's really tough to believe in each other, because we went to the same school. You went to the same school maybe that I went to. You went to the same university that I went to, but you couldn't affect, or you couldn't become the influence. Rather, you're influenced. So taking me for an influence will be accepting your defeat. But this is what no one taught us. Accepting defeat is actually winning, because last time I also mentioned this. Understanding the problem of Africa, knowing the problem of Africa, will help us solve the problem of Africa by Africans. This is actually the only way. So when I travel, I do some consultancy work for some organizations, on animal production, livestock production, and other sectors. But when I go there, I see environments which are actually rich in water, rich in forest, rich in, I don't know, like, call it fruits, the things that you won't find. I have been to some parts of Ethiopia where the things that you eat there are different. The things that they eat there are like, no one knows what the names of those things are, even sometimes. But people go there, and, like, when you see it, the mountains have water, the road is filled with water, the entire environment is filled with water. But what happened with harvesting only once a year, waiting for the rainy season to come and go? And this has been a routine. Change has been, what do you call it, changing has become uh, kind of taboo in Africa. This is what I see. I mean, if you are a changed man, if you are a person with a different perspective, then that's considered taboo. That's considered against Ethiopianism. That's considered as against Africanism. It shouldn't be. Ideologies should be entertained instead of neglected, because the philosophies that Plato wrote, the philosophies that Aristotle wrote, those philosophers helped develop the idea. The philosophies, for example, Marxism and Leninism, are people just coming up with ideas. Like, if we do a socialist or communist ideology, then we can understand that better than, like, we can understand our community better than anyone. But what happened to having a different ideology? What happened to coming up with philosophy, with philosophical findings? No one said only there is going to be a biological or scientific, what do you call it, nuclear physics finding, or uh, aerodynamics area inventions and stuff. Not only those things are going to come in our lives, there is a philosophical revolution where the philosophies that we're actually living and should be tested and dared to, not just tested, but dared. I would like to dare all Africans, including myself. I would like to dare myself into change. Are we gonna change? Are we gonna accept change? The changes that are gonna come in our lives, the changes that are gonna come in our beliefs, the changes that are gonna come in our what do you call it, rule of law system, the changes that are gonna come in our politics. Change has to be acceptable. This I can help you. Uh, I can help you understand it from the animal world, because I'm a vet. Don't. I know some of you actually understood the animal analogy that I used. Ianatan also mentioned that the animal analogy that I used last time worked. So I'm gonna still use that. For example, when you move your cheese in your house, or when you move the fruits in your house, or the tomato in your house, the potato in your house, when you change the location of those things, if you have rats in the house, they will actually sense that you have moved them, because they'll check, and right away they'll just walk away and start looking, start smelling change. So they will say, oh, so he moved it into a bucket, or he moved it into a plastic storage. So we're gonna have to dig in and get it. That's the determination that animals have for change. When it changes, they don't say you're gonna have to bring. They're not gonna come early morning or in the middle of the night, wake you up, and then they're not gonna ask you, where did you put that? Where did you put that potato that I ate yesterday? Because there was plenty of it, and I know for sure that you're not gonna eat that. They're not gonna tell you that. They're gonna look for the potatoes, with or without you. It doesn't matter where you put it, they're gonna smell the potato, because that's their life. That's that's how they sense change. But when you come to Africa, and I can say definitely about my country, when you come to Ethiopia, change is unacceptable. Change is not tolerable. And we say, as proud nation, we are tolerant and diversified, but there's one thing that we're missing out. We don't accept change. We don't accept the changes that are going to come to our bodies, the changes that are going to come to our environment, the changes that are going to come to our finances, the changes that are going to come to our visions and dreams and passions. Those changes need to be understood, smelled, and realizing those changes, always focusing on the changes, will help you grow as a person, and it will help you grow as a company, as a nation. And because it's the hate that we have, it's the hate that we show, it's the hate that we possess and bury deep in our hearts, and then claim that, like, with the idea of, like, just being righteous, self-righteous. I'm the right person. My ideology is right. And this is a recap from the last week program. So before we just march in today's program, I would like to take a moment, or for all of us to who are in this show, I want you to take a moment. I want you to take a moment and just close your eyes and think about it. And I don't know what your religion is. I don't know what your faith is. I want you to ask your God right now. I just want you to close your eyes. Because we're going to go deep today, and we're going to dig in and dig the dirt out of Africa and make Africa shine like a gold. I'm going to come with ideas, and you're going to come with ideas. We're going to mash those ideas together and then keep going. So that was the last week program. So I want you to take a moment and close your eyes and think about what your God made you for. And in that feeling, I would like to take a moment to pray for Africa, to pray for our continent, our world, and about this program. God, we thank you for this program, and I hope you have a purpose in our life, and I know you have a purpose in our lives. And help us imparting what we know and what you have designed us to impart on people, to do so genuinely, without hate, with love and peace and understanding. In the name of God, we pray. Amen. So I'm gonna just jump in today. Today is a beautiful day, and not every day that we get this day. It's every day passes, every minute. The minutes that I've been live on, 17 minutes, are gone. I'm not gonna get them back. The years that we've been laying on our goal is not gonna come back. We're gonna have to work from now on. When you go like to people and ask them, what do you think is the problem? Why aren't we getting there? Why aren't we getting rich? Why aren't we getting uh, why aren't we utilizing our potential? When you ask people those issues, they'll say like, the West did this, the Americans did that, somebody did this, and this is the issue, blame shifting. So this is actually in the human nature. You can go to Genesis, and then you see that Adam and Eve made a mistake, and then finally, when the Creator came and asked them, "Where are you?" and he said, "I'm naked." So when I figured that I'm naked, I was hiding. Then was it? Did you eat the fruit? Of course he did, but he didn't admit it. You know what he said? He said, "The woman that you made for me, the helper that you ideally thought about, she made me eat it." Then when he came to her, she didn't still admit it. She blamed the snake. This is just. I want you to avoid that blame shifting. I know it's happening. I know that the reality is the world that doesn't want Africa to grow. The world that's the fact. They're not they're not gonna tell you, they're not gonna make life easy for you. It doesn't matter. You're gonna have to make your life hard for yourself, then you're gonna have to do it by yourself. You're gonna have to starve, you're gonna have to change, you're gonna have to suffer. We're gonna have to do it ourselves. If we have to, it doesn't matter what the cost is, we have to do it. Blaming and pointing fingers is not gonna solve anyone's problems. That's just gonna keep us there, stomping the yard. We're just standing there, marching on the same ground that we've been marching. That's called blame shifting. So I want us today to come up with innovative ideas. Ideas that are going to entertain tolerance. Ideas that are going to entertain tolerance in our diversity, in a diversified community like Africa. Because if you go to Europe, if you go to Sweden, in Sweden, you don't find people who speak only you don't find ethnic groups in Sweden. They're all Swedish. But when you come to Africa, when you go to um, Tanzania, for example, or Ethiopia, these countries, two countries, only have 120. Tanzania has 121. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mika. 121 ethnic groups. Ethiopia has 86 ethnic groups, 86 different languages spoken. We actually are the example. Actually, I believe that we are the mutation to the world. We mutated. We gave the world singularity, but the world that developed from our plurality, from our diversity, forgot that it came from us. Well, yes, we are the source. Yes, we are the potential. Yes, they're scared if Africa wakes up, life is going to be hard for them. Yes, we know that. But today, it's not about blaming. It's all about taking responsibility. We have to be responsible for the things that we're not doing. Yes, they are responsible for what happened the past 500 years, but they are not going to be responsible for what we're not doing now. What's the African Union doing? What are the presidents and ambassadors doing? Despite the fact that they live in Addis Ababa, but what are they doing? I'm not saying that most of them, yes, most of them are wasting their time. I'm going to be brutally honest, but most of them are also working. So let's say half of them are working hard to unite Africa, maybe, or maybe half of them are just enjoying their life, the funding, the grants that they produce, and all those things. So I want everyone today to question themselves about one thing, because I was I'm gonna give you a life experience here, because when I graduated, I was young and it was my first year, so I got hired in an organization called International Fund for Africa. So I was working as a veterinary program director in that company, in that organization. And then my boss, I'm going to be honest with you, my boss I really hated. It was a lady who was in her 60s, and she established the NGO. And, like she was desperate of getting things done, but I was young. I didn't understand the system. I didn't understand many things. I worked in Addis, so it was a complicated system for me. I had to get used to the city administrations, to the, like the subsidies and the warada and the kabeles. These are the divisions within the city and all those things. I have to understand those things, and I didn't actually understand them because I didn't have any clue, and I didn't know people. So I suffered a lot. So the only response I had was anger, rage. Whenever she comes asking me questions, raising issues, and I get angry, I get irritated, and I tell her like, no, you can't just expect me to do all these things today. Like, it's one day, I have to do it. Tomorrow I have to do. Then I started complaining, and at some point I broke. I broke, and I started crying. I started hating her. I started talking bad things about her, and then finally there was an older lady, also in that organization, and she came to me and she said, "You hate our boss, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I hate her. Do you?" That was. She said. She said, "I don't have time for hate." And I said, "What? That's impossible. Um, that's impossible." And she reads lots of books. When I figured, when she told me, like, I read books and I do this and I do that, I meditate and I do that, like all those things that she was doing, she told me, and she said, "Can you try loving your boss? Like, imagine that she's in a lot of pain, and then just understand her, and just don't hate her. Maybe don't love her, but don't hate her. Stop hating her. The second you stop hating her, something miraculous will happen in your life." This is what she said. When you stop hating uh, someone, that's what's going to happen to you. That's what she said. And I took her word because I needed a solution, and I started stopping, the feelings of hate and anger, and I started, appreciating what she was doing. Actually, she's been in the U.S. for 20, 25 years, and she established NGO in Ethiopia. And I started thinking all those things, and I turned it into positive. So I started doing that, and right away, in a click of a week or two, I stopped hating her. I started appreciating what the things she was doing, and then finally I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't blaming her anymore for my mistakes and failures. Instead, I was trying my best. I was trying really hard. I was working really hard and supporting the company in many different ways. And I tried and I tried and I tried. I designed projects and I met with the city administrations, all those things. And the hate went away. When the hate went away, I started working. When the hate went away, I started understanding that they did this because they were that. And she was angry at me because she wanted it accomplished. And she expects me to accomplish it. And so like what I want to say to you is, what if we stop as an African? What if we stop judging today? Walk on the street, don't appreciate it, don't judge it. Don't say she's ugly, he's ugly. Don't say he's handsome, she's beautiful. Don't say that. Can you do that? Can you walk on the street and just say nothing and think nothing? Just look at them as human beings who are as equal as you are. That's the human touch. So I'm gonna bring because I have a reason why I'm saying this, because we need tolerance, we need a get together, we need to understand each other. When we come to this platform, I want everyone to say like, which perspective is he talking about? Like which way is he understanding everything that I'm saying? When I say something about Africa is poor by choice. Yeah. Don't you accept it? Yes, you don't. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But Africa is poor by choice. We're sleeping on gold. We're sleeping on coltan, copper, diamonds, opal. We're sleeping on cacao. We're sleeping in a forest which can make tons of metric cubes of honey, where we can make from this. We're living in an abundant continent where there is no shortcoming in the entire continent. Even the desert gives you fruit. I mean, that's it. We can turn that into paradise, but we're not doing that. So, are we not poor by choice? Are we not sleeping on gold and begging for, um, for begging for bread, wheat supply from UNICEF and WFP, World Food Program? I don't know why those companies actually exist. World Food Program. That means that's a way means of decapitating people. So yeah, last week I mentioned, teach a man how to fish, you feed him for a life. Feed a man a fish, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. So I want solutions on how to utilize and on how to use um, our potential. Do we have potential? If you don't believe that, just look around you. So I want you to take a moment. I'm gonna read some comments, and I'm gonna come up with. So Sam, still waiting for you to go live with me, and Marie Antoinette. Hi Marie. Marit, with a lot of climate around Africa, you should be able to harvest more times a year. Wow, true. But you need to do more with irrigation. Yes, true, 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 Marie. Yes. So we have different. Yes, Marit said Salam Abenezer. Yes, Salam Marit. I'm glad you're. I think in Dutch you say goeie avond, if I'm not wrong. So goeie avond Marit. So yeah, Deku. I want everyone today. Jonas Mamushit, hello and welcome, Dr. Abenezer. Thank you very much. Salute Swahili Nation. Yes, salute Eritrea. Well, yes, you agree with me. Eritrea, poor by choice. You agree with me. Uh, Poor by choice, very true. Sam, hello everybody. Hi Sam. Hi Sam. With a lot of climate around you, I'm coming back again to. So Retreat says charity starts at home. So the only house in common we have is the AU, and we have to start there. I believe we'd have an African diaspora seat in the house. Yeah, charity does start at Retreat, but I think more Africans have lost hope on the African Union, and I think that's where we have, given up on the African Union issue. Because, to be honest, and brutally honest, I mean, the African Union members are not doing much at this time, except expecting um, a funding, a grant for their development programs or whatever the programs they're preparing in Africa, and they just keep training people, but not capacity building. They're not building wells for people who are suffering from water shortages. They're not building pumps for people who have lack of irrigation. So I don't know how that's going to help us. But Eritrea, if you can join us live, maybe you can also help us understand how we can affect the African Union, because every idea that comes on here is a positive idea. Um, Nana Dreams said, on gold. Yes, could you finish the sentence too? So that we can have a conversation. Tanzan. Tanzan. Welcome, Tanzan. And yes, peace and greetings, Dr. Ebenezer. That's what you said. Okay. Yes. Yes, Marie. I think it's a hard language, and I tried. Goeiemorgen is good morning. Goedemiddag is good afternoon. And goedenavond or goedenavond is good evening. That's that much I know. That much at least I know. So I think I'm gonna let people come in and discuss the idea that the potential that we see in Africa. Uh, we need to work on the potentials, those potentials that we see, and what do we see, basically. So we need to come together. And Big E One Africa says hi, family. Big E saying hi to everyone. Tanzan, I'll be expecting you today, and Biggie, I'll be expecting you. Marit, you're a family member, and you're also expected. I'm also expecting other people to join in, and then let's share our opinions, and um, without personalizing, because one thing that we lack is that we make everything personal, and we attack the person instead of the argument. Instead of winning the argument, we try to win the person instead. Call it political or religious arguments that we have in Africa ends up in attacking the person, the individual, not the idea. That's what we lack. Um, and that's what the Europeans and the Westerns and the Americans have. They can fight over an issue, and they could insult one another, and like obliterate, cut them wide open. But at the end of the day, they shake hands and they leave, and finally they say like, Good luck with each other. Good luck with your idea. Good luck with your business. Good luck with your work." And that's what we need. So um, yes, I want you to join in now, and let's have an opinion of how we can change the hate. Because to use and utilize our potential, we need to change the hate that we have towards each other. Uh, we have to multiply hate by zero, so that it becomes a neutral ground for individuals who have unique ideas, who could change Africa, who could change the African nation in different perspectives. You can see it from different ways, but at least you can say at the end of the day, things will not be as they were. And if we are not adapting to changes that are happening in our lives, we're going to have to deal with lots of things that we're not actually doing good at. So I want everyone to take a moment and think about one thing. So you, like many of you, I have dogs, and I have I actually work with cattle, and I also work with other animals like cats. And since I'm a vet, so basically, but there's one thing that I actually had I've been thinking, today. So the human touch, like there are different breeds of dogs. There is a Boerboel, a Pit Bull, um, there's a Doberman, there's a Rottweiler, there's Kangal. Um, these dogs are different and different sizes also, and different nature, and different bite forces. But one thing I learned today is that despite the fact that they're dangerous and deadly at the same time, but one thing works towards those animals. When you give them love, when you're affectionate towards them, then I think the second they start trusting you because of the affection and the care that you give to them, they start trusting you. And I inject my all my dogs. I have 5 dogs, and when I give them treatments, I don't need to muzzle them. I don't need to tie them to something. I'll just give them injection. They'll just know, even though it pinches, they know that I'm not gonna hurt them. They know that. That love, if that love can affect an animal, a monster, a beast, and then tame them into becoming docile and nice to people, then the love that we give, the care that we give, the respect that we show to others and towards each other could help us achieve a lot. So I think we need to work on you know, cutting out the hate in Africa. We need to work incising the hate that we give every now and then towards each other. And then, because as long as you see, what we don't understand is this is how hate works. We get angry, we get irritated, and we start, like hurting ourselves. It's not going to affect the other person, it's just going to affect us. But affect us in a sense, it's going to affect us in many different aspects of our lives. We're not going to be efficient, we're not going to be effective, we're not going to work peacefully. So we're distracted, we're thinking about the person that we hate, the things that we hate, the ideas that we hate. Instead of hating them, we have to, prepare to handle them, prepare to like them as they are. So I think we need to work on the human touch. The love that we give matters. Um, you don't have to love and be affectionate, but at least don't hate. So when we avoid that hate, at the end of the day, things start falling out normal for you. You walk out and you don't hate anyone, you don't judge anyone. Then you become efficient. You use your mind. You rest well, and all those things happen. Then we can utilize the potential that we have. If you ask me the potential that we have in Africa, like I can mention, I think up to, I don't know, 100 million ideas that run every day in my head. And if we did that, if we did this, like I went to Harare area in Ethiopia, and the land was a blessed land. It's just fertile, and mountains, valleys, and everything. But they're expecting to import a water pump, and to dig it, it's going to cost 3.5 million to 4 million. Then it's going to cost them a lot, so they got stuck. So there was an old man, a scientist, with me, and he said, "You can harvest rainwater and put it in a big concrete built pool, and you can irrigate your land with that." We have people with ideas, we have people, potentials that we haven't even thought about using. I think it's time to avoid the hate, avoid the blame, and work on a solution. Today, I'm here to hear entrepreneurial ideas, here to listen to creative and innovative ideas from all Swahili Nation Network, family, One Africa family, and members that have been contributing. And in the middle of everything, don't forget to share, subscribe, uh, this show to people that you know, family members that you know, and I want you to also hit the like button. And so I'm gonna go back to comments and I'm gonna read a little bit. Sam said, "Okay." Sam said, "Ebenezer, if we hate each other, let's ask ourselves why." Oh, that's good. That's good, Sam. Why do we hate each other, or why do we hate one person, etc.? Um, I don't want to go deep into the hate part, Sam, but if you have any idea, you can just join in. We'll be sharing in a minute the StreamYard button, and everyone can just join in and we can share ideas how hate is going to affect us and all those things. So let's just. I want to hear your point and your perspective on that one. And Marit said, "True. Often we hate or dislike the other because we see something we also don't like or annoy in in ourselves." Yes, true, Marit. I agree with you. And you know, I don't know if you heard this, but the Buddhists always say uh, anger is holding a flame or a burning stick, and then expecting the other person to burn. It's you who's holding it. It's the hate that we give every day. It's us who's holding the hate. The other person is going to bed and sleep well. If you hate a Russian guy, you're not going to change anything. The only thing you're going to do is just you're going to get annoyed and you get pissed, angry, irritated, and come home sleepless. Not only you affect yourself, you also affect if you have a family that you're living with. If you're married, and then you affect the people that are living with you. Your children are affected. Your wife is affected. Your neighborhood is affected. The workplace that you work at is affected because of that hate. So efficiency goes down. The more we keep hating, the more we become inefficient to do things. So we need to take that out. In Africa, that's what we need to work on. Africa, there's a lot of hate. There is a lot of hate for each other. And we need to cut that out and then incise it out, open, and then throw it away. You might say it's not easy because they did that and they did this. And it's funny because if I can ask an Ethiopian who hates his fellow ethnic group different from his own, if I ask that person, he's gonna raise the issue of 50 years ago, and he's gonna tell me, or 100 years ago, or 200 years ago, what the ancestors did, and no one actually questions what the Italians did in Ethiopia. They actually bombed us. No one asked what the British did. When it comes to the British, we're soft. When it comes to each other, we're hard. We're really hard on each other. We forgive. In South Africa, when you go, Africans who are going migrating to South Africa are suffering a huge deal instead of the white people. But like I'm not talking about the color here, but who are what is our target? Who is our target? I mean, even to hate someone, there is a greater picture that you should see. The British did that. Okay, let's hate the British. I don't agree on hating, but I would say okay, let's hate them. But why spend time hating them? That's where I want to is so I want us to avoid the hate issue. I want us to focus more on the love that we give. As an African, we want love, peace. This is a one Africa dream. Uh, you can ask me, you can ask Mika, anyone who's on this show. You can ask anyone. and they'll tell you that's our target, that's our goal, to love one another, respect one another, and understand one another. That's what we want to do, and that's how we are planning to make One Africa a reality. So I want you to come with your ideas. Jonas Mamushet, can we conclude that Africa sleep on purposes? I don't think so. I'm sorry. Jonas Mamushet, if you can make the question a little bit clear, is it a question or is it an answer? Like, can we conclude it that Africa sleep on purposes? I don't think so. You just answered yourself, so I want you to let me know if it's you need a discussion point on that one, or I'm sorry, guys, or you want me to discuss on that one. Is Africa sleeping on purposes? Yes, we are sleeping on purpose. We're sleeping on different things. We're actually sleeping on everything that we have around us. So we are here to break that chain, to break that circle that we have been doing. So I'm here to discuss the idea. So Big E, actually family let ban the word hate and confused in our vocabulary. Yes, but it's that the Big E. I think you'll join in later, and um, I think it's not the vocabulary that we have a problem with. It's the action. I would say vocabularies. Yes, it's a negative idea. Negative thoughts going out there will damage people. Yes, I agree with that. But it's not just the vocabulary. It's more than the vocabulary. So um, it's more of the action that we show. Um, so let's work on that one too. I agree with Big E on the idea that we need to work on towards banning those words. But banning the words only doesn't bring a solution. So we need to start also banning the actions. We need to start. We need to start developing our own philosophy. We need to come up with a philosophy that is going to help Africa. Because I don't believe, to be honest with you, I don't believe democracy is an African solution for Africa. You might think from different perspective, but I don't see democracy being a solution. Every system that came into the world fails. We need to come up with our own philosophy here in One Africa. That's what I believe in. That's my personal opinion. You can challenge me if you want. You can come up with reasons that democracy is important and all those things. But I believe that more than democracy, we need our own philosophy. Who made democracy work in Africa? How did we see it? How did they see it? Because in their world it works, in our world it doesn't. There's a lot of differences that we have with them, and that we need to come up with a plan, or even if it means, changing the purpose, changing the word democracy, not just the word democracy, but the functionalities of democracy has to be changed when it comes to Africa. So it has to be a different democracy that we have to practice here. So that's what I believe. We need to start working towards a philosophy that's going to change African lives, to solve African problems. That's where I see Africa. Uh, yes, despite the problems, despite despite us sleeping on the gold, I see that one. So we will share their live stream, you know, link right now with Ezra. I'm gonna go back to comments and see some other comments. Okay, it's a subliminal code. Yes, subliminal messaging. I know that one. We need to break our ego and aid to delete hate from our lives, because it's our ideologies that are fighting, not us. I believe. Mike Africa Unite. I agree with you 100%. That's the perfect ideology. I want you to join in on the live stream, and I want you to share your opinions with us. Hate is a vital part of being a human. Sam, it is impossible to eradicate. Rather, you want to practice on how to make the refractory period of that emotion less. Yes. Yes, I didn't say we can eradicate hate also. But how do we challenge our people to not hate? That's my question. How are we going to challenge our people to not hate each other? I mean, basically, we're not hating the ones that, made the grand design for us to be poor. We're not angry at the United Nations. We're not angry at what do you call it, UNICEF or WFP for just feeding us instead of teaching us how to harvest food from the ground that we have, which is a functional, fertile soil that we have. No one is teaching us. We're not angry at them. We're angry at our neighbors. We're angry at our people, at our own people in our neighborhood. We get angry, we get irritated with our own people. It's so traumatizing how much we hate each other. Within the same city, there is an amazing hate among each other. How did we get there? Okay, let's say there's a grand design that's working in the world. You call it whatever you want, the new world order and stuff. Why are we giving in? Why is Africa the only continent who's giving into this hate? Who's giving into this to the system? To the system of abuse, system of murder, system of uh, killing. I mean, let's say, okay, many people say they sell weapons to us and then, they capitalize on our chaoses. And yes, they do. And I'm glad they do. This is my personal opinion again. I'm glad they do. Because when they give you the weapon, why aren't we taking the weapon and building an army to protect ourselves? Why are we killing our neighbors? Why are we doing that? Yes, you can challenge me with anything that you come up with. Uh, let's say, okay, what happened in Rwanda? What happened in Ethiopia? What happened? Whatever is happening in all over Africa. What is happening in South Africa? The, the the things that are happening all over Africa are happening because of hate, pure hate. And I'm not just saying it's just some kind of hate that you see. It's I want to kill you hate. And I don't know how we got there. And because this is very crucial for my topic, because as long as we're stuck on hate, we're not going to utilize the potential that we have, because we're not going to utilize the potential. At the same time, we're not going to let others utilize the potential because we hate them. This is it. This is it. We hate them. We don't want them to do anything. We don't want to do anything. This is what's happening in Africa. And I worked on a feedlot project in Ethiopia, and a huge investment, a massive investment. And when you ask the community, yes, the land was taken from the community. Yes, they want the land. But when you ask the community, they'll tell you that's our land. We don't want to work on that land. We want to graze it to our cattle. We want to use it for ourselves. And when you ask them, what did you do before the company came 4 years ago? It's like, we graze the land. We just take the grass from it. We cut the trees. We make coal and we sell it and we live. But you're earning money right now and you're making money out of it. Yeah, but we still don't want them to do it here. So you just don't want them to do it, and you don't want to do it either. Yes, that's it. Even. That's what do you call it? When you don't win, or when the other person doesn't win, it's called a draw, right? That's a draw. We're in a draw. Africa is in a draw. We're equal. When you're playing chess, when both players have a king and a king, that's a draw, because it's not gonna end. You can sit the whole night, the whole day, the whole week, the whole month, play it. They just keep moving. So we're in a drought. We're in a drought and we're just stuck at a point where we cannot use any of our resources. And yet we complain. We complain that the world is doing this to us. No, 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 no. That's time to end that cycle. The vicious cycle has to be cut. It has to be a straight line. I have to take my responsibility to be self aware, to love my neighbor, to love my own people, to love Africans, to love everyone who is human, actually. There is no point in hating. Because the more we keep hating, because this is what happens. If I start supporting the West, somebody's going to hate me here or in Africa. Then hating me and hating the people who are like me is going to create a chaos for Africa where, again, we're in a draw. We're not winning. Entertaining different ideas has to be tolerated. Difference has to be tolerated in Africa. For that, we need a system. We need a functioning system. As long as there's hate, then we don't function well. So that's what I believe. So, Sam, this means being able to move out of a state of hate rather quickly and not let it fester. Marit also said you can hate what someone is doing but still love the person. Okay, I agree with that one because that's more Christ-like. We can start by identifying what we hate. Yes, Sam, we hate people. That's the funny part for me. We hate people. We hate our own people. Um, I can actually share like an experience with you. People throw a stone at you if you're Ethiopian and uh, walk somewhere different. They'll throw a stone at you or they will mistreat you because you're Ethiopian. But if a foreigner comes, he can walk in a zone. Like I had a friend of mine who was walking in a zone where uh, OLF fighters and government fighters were fighting. They were there hiking. Since they were foreigners, no one said anything to them. But if it was Ethiopians, I mean, we would have been arrested. Lots of deals. So we hate ourselves. Basically, that's how I see it. It's hate towards each other that's actually killing Africa. So we need to work on that one. Um, Bemnet Segeye. Bemnet, enjoying your session. Good job. Thank you very much. I'm trying my best. If there are activities for Africans, perhaps they won't have time to allow hate to fester. They would be in a better state of mind. They probably wouldn't want to trade with with empty hate. Ebenezer, if the West achieved their goal and TPLF were back in power, and I highly doubt we would have started filling the GERD as we did. So I am sure that the West has a lot to do with African misery. Sam, I'm not gonna say they don't, because they do, and that's a grand plan. The West have a plan for us. Even last week's session, Marit mentioned that the coffee farming in Africa, um, instead of creating increasing the price of the coffee, they want to create foundations. She even mentioned that to make their own life easy, they just buy it cheap. This is what's happening. Um, Funnily, Sam, basically, we just have to get to a point for adults like us. You know, it's not going to be easy to divert from that direction. We need to work from a different perspective. I want to encourage you to work on children. I want to I want you to invest in education. I want you to be invested because I want you to support Ezra Neguse, whose session is also in one of the weeks. In next week, you'll have a session. I want Ezra to be here, like as Rani will say, could help us in education sector. Because I want education not to just, it has to be compassionate education, collaborative education. Now we have a competitive education, so that I want to be the number one student, liked by all teachers, liked by all parents, liked by all kids. And there's someone out there who needs help, but no one is helping that kid achieve his purpose in life. That's where education fails. So to use the potential, we need every hands on deck. We need every people that we can use. We need everyone that can help us. But we're not using that one. We're just running away. So we're hating each other. We have time for that one. So we need to work on that one. That's my belief, my personal belief. So we need to work really hard on that one. So we wouldn't fill the dam. Yes, 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 yes. There is no single doubt about that. And maybe we wouldn't even have the dam by now if they were in power. But removing them from power required uh, mass death at the same time. But once they're gone, still we're in that vicious circle, still of that hate. And now, still those liberation fronts in Ethiopia exist because I don't know who they're liberating from who. I don't know who they're going to help from who. We need work. We need to develop Ethiopia. We need to develop Africa. We need to grow. We need to grow economically. We need to grow mentally. We need to grow spiritually. We need to grow in many aspects, even in our emotional understanding. We need to grow in our emotions. It has to, like, emotional maturity has to be there, not just like educational maturity. You can't be a professor and at the same time be an emotional guy who throws a stone still till this day. So we need to work on that one too. We have to be brutally honest towards it, and we have to say, like, where is our education system? Where are our religious institutions who are supposed actually to teach about love? Where are they? What are they really teaching? We need to question everyone. We need to question everything. We need to start, like Marie Antoinette said last time. It's the baby boomers who are crippling the generation. We need to really work on that one. We need to really take charge. This is the new generation who is going to challenge everyone. So I agree with you, Sam. Bemnet Zagay, our stories matter. I have got the chance to travel in most parts of Ethiopia. It's mesmerizing how different stories are. Hate is um, wrapped in the stories. Children grow up listening to these stories. Yes, when Bemnet, you actually brought up a really good point. Um, because I had the chance to read 152 tales that were being told, actually published by the USAID in Ethiopia to be distributed for free for schools. I had the chance to read 152 stories. All of the stories. It's funny. There's a hyena in the story, there's a monkey in the story, and there's a donkey in the story. And most of the stories, the hyena tricks the donkey, or the hyena tricks the ox, or it's it's a trickster story. It's all about being tricky. It doesn't teach you about loving each other, helping one another. It teaches you how to win in a conniving way, in a trickster way. We need, like, those are that was so funny because I was reading it with a school owner. I would like to take one session of Thursday to interview him and bring his perspective, because he's also doing working on school right now. He can help us understand the education system better. So I think I will take one session of Thursday night and I will just interview him and post his interview on this session so that you can see him, because he has a different perspective when it comes to education. We have people, we don't lack potential, we just lack the ability to act upon those potentials. We are potent by nature. Is a potent continent. It can feed the entire world, not let alone um, I, I don't know, let alone the Europeans. Even if people go and start living in Mars, we can still send food from Africa. We have the land, we have the climate, we have everything. Before the climate changes, we need to really work on our potential. Before everything starts changing and before we start falling apart, we need to come together. That's what I want to see. So, uh, yeah, these folk tales, these stories that are being told to children are actually dangerous. The hyena tricks the donkey and the cows, like the oxens, and then make eats them. The monkey tricks the hyena and saves the donkey by tricking him, so that it's all about trick. It's all about cheats. So what we teach our children through those folk tales is actually invaluable lesson of trickster and cheaters. And when the generation becomes a generation of cheat and tricksters, and then we say, this is a cursed generation. What happened to it? Like, what happened? You've been telling them stories of tricksters and cheaters, and then you expect what? This is it. What you reap, what you sow. If you had sowed um, wheat, you cannot harvest barley. If you sow corn, you cannot harvest wheat. Simple as that. It's just a logic. So we need to work on those stories. Also, they have to be collaborative, working together, loving each other. Why do we hate our own people? That's Sam questions. If anyone is out there who wants to answer this question for Sam, please join in, come in, and let's have the discussion. Sam said at Bemnet Tegea, I very much agree with you. You're speaking very factually. True, Bemnet is actually pointing good points. Marie Antoinette, 100%, 100%, 100%. True, true. Bemnet Zegei, children grow up, and when they are adults, they're ready to kill. Yeah, wow, yeah. Um, Not just ready to kill. The funny thing is, we grew up. I mean, I grew up in Ethiopia. Right? Born, I was born here. I grew up here. I love animals. Um, when we were kids, like there was time that like kids throw stones at dogs who were actually just sleeping. Um, it was irritating, and I thought it was only in my time. Kids throw stones at dogs, at donkeys, at cows, at horses that are passing by. They just keep throwing and throwing. And one thing, when I joined the university and I started studying veterinary, um, in the you can Google it and read about it in the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation office. When most of the serial killers that were found in the United States didn't have pets when they were kids, so they became a bit of kind of twisted. There was a twist, and they correlate it because it has an importance. Animals, environment, and everything has its role to play, and that's where I bring Mahatma Gandhi's quote, where he says, "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. How you treat animals defines how you act towards people. If you can just stone a sleeping dog who didn't say anything to you, who didn't bark at you, who didn't do anything, he was lying after doing his duty the whole night protecting his household. If you can throw a stone at that dog, and it's easy to throw a stone at people too at the same time. That's what I understand. So yeah, very factually, you're saying, Bemnet Zagayed, you're speaking the real facts on the ground. So if you want the bigger picture, we have to work on our stories, sharing common stories. Thank you. Thank you. We need to come up with stories. We need this is like last week I was trying to mention imagination. So the imaginative world of Hollywood created weapons that we see today. I mean, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the movies that were made with the weapons that were not even existent. But after that, after the movies, they tried to invent those weapons and they invented them. They wanted to invent jets, so they introduced them in a movie, and that's the imagination. Imagination plays a role in developing a nation. We have to create imaginative generation where they think about for the common good and for common stories that they need to share with their families. So if anyone is out there, join us on live and let's have the discussion. We'll be I think by now we should be sharing the link. So so I'm gonna go and read more comments. Marie Antoinette, that's why developing the art of negotiation is so important. Yes, negotiation. And I want to add to that one, Marie Antoinette, I want to add developing the art of negotiation and imagination is so important. If we could do that, it would be perfect. Um, Prof. Isra doesn't support my ideology. He wants to give every African a Harvard education. Problem is, we have a total education budget enough to only buy a Big Mac with fries. Okay, Sam, we'll convince Professor Isra negotiate on education system. Don't worry. I'll join him next session. I'll challenge him with the session with the ideas, and you'll be there too. Not actually running away, more everyone is only minding their own business. True, Marit. Instead of social, what do you call it? Socialism and socializing, we became individualists and we became so self centered. That's where we need to work on. True. Marie Antoinette, definitely emotional maturity. Yes. Yes, we need emotional maturity. Achieving emotional maturity will make it possible for the imperialists to manipulate us. Okay, okay, okay. And real development takes hard work, and it should be very everyone on board. Yes, everyone on board. Everyone needs to come. Everyone needs to be here on the ground. That's what I always keep saying. Hands on deck. We need to all Africans to come here to change Africa. That's what we need. So I agree with you, Marie. Um, so hold on a minute. So yes, Sam, we'll work on that one together. I think we don't need a Harvard education system. We need a collaborative education system instead of a competitive. The competition has already paralyzed and crippled us. So we need to work on um, collaborative education, where we help one another through different subjects. Marie Antoinette said. To manipulate. For imperialists, oh yeah, for imperialists, okay, okay, it will be definitely impossible for us. Uh, impossible for the imperialists to manipulate us. I agree with that one. I agree with that one definitely. So yes, yes. Okay, okay. All right. And Gideon Tesfaye here says potential for the future of Africa is in the majority youth, and for the people to stop and think for a moment. Yes, we need a moment. We need a moment that we need to take. Uh, that moment that we need to take, and then um, yeah, we need to take a really good break, good moment from whatever we're doing, and we need to work towards um, where we messed up, where we screwed up. I'm sorry for using those words, but we need to take a moment to take a break and say, like, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? What's going on? Tanzan, I was expecting you to be live with me today, but you're not. And Tanzan says, we hate each other, but we love our outsiders. We welcome everyone, but not those who like us, who are like us, maybe. Black people have given the world food, beauty, music, love, and love to others, but not to each other. Shame. Yes, true. Shame on us. I agree with you. Shame on us because we haven't developed, um, yeah, we haven't developed a chance of loving one another. So, yeah, that's shame on us. So, I'll be I'll be trying to share the link with you guys, the link of StreamYard, and so that you can join me live, and we can have a discussion together. I'm trying to get in touch with Pastor Ezra, who is in the background, but I haven't been able to get a hold of him. So if you communicated with him, please background. So help me get him. So maybe you can join in with this link. I'm not sure. Let's try this one. So yeah, if you can try to hit the link here, StreamYard link I tried to share with you, so you can maybe share it with. I've tried it, so maybe you can join. I don't know if I can let you in because Professor Pastor Israel has to do that one, and I'll be waiting for his confirmation. So until then, we'll communicate through. Yeah, yes, I think I can share through phone and also WhatsApp group, and also on the comment here, I'll try to share. Okay, I'll be sharing the link with you. Very recent. Okay, let me check if it's the right link. So if you can join me, it would be really nice so that we can have a discussion. I'm gonna try to copy this and share it on YouTube. It's I think the same link. Try clicking on the link and joining the live stream. And I have communicated with uh, Isra, and he'll be letting you from background. Okay, so if we have emotional maturity, I think this will happen through time, and it takes time. I believe change takes time. Whatever takes time actually is valuable. So I think it should take time. And I believe that emotional maturity is crucial to African development and utilization of our resources. So Marie Antoinette said, "Achieving emotional maturity will make it impossible for the imperialists to manipulate us." So when we have emotional maturity, then we become stable. We don't make rash decisions, rash political choices, and that we won't be afraid. But yes, we do have potential. Yes, we do have the resources that we need to grow as a nation. We do have the resources. We do have the potential, and even we do have the human resources. The number of people that we possess as an African is a lot. It's a lot and a lot. Every now and then we keep growing, but we haven't been able to utilize the resources that we have on ground. I believe that why is the question most of the time. Then the answer to this is when you have that kind of like resource issues, uh, the rash political choices, the corrupt political decisions that were made in Africa made it impossible for Africa to utilize. So I want all of you to consider consider working towards utilization of African resources in many different aspects of utilizing African potential, because the potential that we possess, as long as we don't see it. But in the meantime, I wanna actually share a story with you guys, because hold on a minute. I wanna share a story with you guys. Yeah. This is from a book of Dr. Miles Monroe. I'll share a story while people come in and join in the live. Before that happens, I would like to share this story with you. In the mid 20th century in Bangkok, Thailand, the government wanted to build a large highway through a village. Yet, in the path of the planned road was a Buddhist monastery with a little chapel. So they had to relocate the monastery, including a heavy 11-foot clay statue of Buddha, to another place using a crane. The government workers moved the monastery in sections. When the workers transported the statue of Buddha to the new location and began to lower it into a place, however, the clay on the statue started to crumble and fall off. The people were afraid because this was a precious religious symbol to them, and they didn't want it to be destroyed. Yet the more the workers tried to place the statue, the more it fell apart, until eventually all the clay was falling off. Suddenly the workers stared in amazement, because as the clay fell away, something unexpected was revealed. The statue was pure gold underneath. Before the statue was moved, people thought it was worth about $50,000. Today, that golden Buddha is worth millions, and because of the story behind it, it is visited by hundreds and thousands of people every year. So, this story illustrates that the cracks that are happening in Africa, these crackings that we see everywhere, are important in changing the lives of Africans, and in changing the destiny of Africa in the future. That's how I see it. I don't know how you guys see it. You can share that with us in a comment, and also you can join us live in the show, and then also share your opinions towards it. But it's an amazing story when you listen to it. So They thought it was just $50,000 worth statue, and unless they had moved it, and when you think about it, unless they have moved it, unless it cracked, unless that road, that change that happened to the monastery never came, if that change never came, the statue would have been still 50,000 US dollar worth. But just because of those cracks, to trying to relocate the statue opened up people's eyes, and then it was made out of gold, not just clay. Now it's worth millions. Not just worth millions of gold statue, but it's worth millions of visits. People go every now and then and listen to that story and come back, because that story is also a personal story, a personal life changing story. The cracks that we have in our personal lives, the cracks that we have as a continent, the cracks and crumblings that we are having in as a country, as a nation, as people, is a crack that's going to reveal the gold in us, and we have to work towards it. Yes, the West have intervened. The West have a grand plan for us to stay what do you call it, poor, impoverished, but still they can still plan that one, and we can still maneuver their plan and use it against them. It's said, your word against mine. So we have to work on those authenticity, on authentic uh, strategies and plans towards developing Africa, using the potential of Africa in many different aspects of our life. So we need to come up with a plan, with a strategy of, instead of blaming, like, yes, they had a role, they played a role in paralyzing and crippling our ideologies, imagination, killing it, and destroying it. For a black man to think to pray to God, even if it wasn't that possible, you know, black man never had a chance. A slave now never had a chance. Those people never had the chance, but we have the chance to make a difference, to make a change today in our lives, today in our country. Today we have a chance of sharing different ideas, different opinions, different. We have this platform. We have YouTube. You have, like, social medias to share what Africa possesses. What are the potentials that we see around us? That we need to work towards those things, and we need to grow from the cracks that because like I always said, like, failure is a way of life. It has to be a way of life, because when you fall down, you get up. When you get up really hard and strong, because you're falling. You're not afraid of falling again. But when you haven't failed in your life, you really get afraid, and then you start going into a panic mode. That's what happened to Africa when Russia and Ukraine went into war. People started panicking, like, our life is going to be hell, and I didn't know even how that was related to us, because I don't care who goes to war. The only thing I care about is Africa coming together as one nation, one people. That's the focus. It's not about Ukraine and Russia going to war. Yes, as people we feel sorry for the people that are actually being hurt over there. But that's not the point. That's not the issue here. For Africans, it should be the issue of food security, food safety. It should be the issue of developing African army. It should be the issue of uniting Africans and African youth. Having a platform where we can create an African seminar where we can sit down and discuss ideologies and share entrepreneurial ideas, creative ideas, bring innovators together, African innovators together, right? Rather than just joining the conspiracy theory of the world and just panicking with them. And it's funny because our leaders are joining or not taking side against Russia or against Ukraine, against somebody. Like, it's funny because we don't need to. They're always against us. Why do we care what what's happening over there? So we have to see really the yeah, Sam. This will shed a light on the world from African perspective. I think we should start diversifying our sessions and talk less about Africa and talk more about the world as Africans. We need to pick up on hot topics and discuss them as Africans. This will shed a light on the world from African perspective. I think we will attract many, many more people. Yes, I do agree with that one, but we're gonna have to take this down to a discussion. We're gonna have to meet up and talk about it, and it shouldn't be in a way that affects our also our channel, because you know what happens. You know where we live, and you know, in the system that we're living in is not a system that is in favor of us. And it's funny because we know that, and we're not acting towards developing our own system. We know that we're not acting towards changing it. We know that they don't like us, but we're still living at the mercy of them, but we still beg for their approval to do something. The African leaders always need approval from the West and from G8 or G7, whatever you call it, G21 or something. From that, they need approval to do something, and it's not just that. It is what actually makes me laugh sometimes is that we have a Ethiopian Veterinary Association. That association is for vets, so it should be promoting veterinary professionals. It should be talking about veterinary professionals and the importance of veterinary uh, professionals in the society. It should be talking about those. But since the EU supports it, and since the OIE supports it, since some NGOs support it, when you go for 3 days to a meeting with them, the whole day, the only thing they talk about is what the EU wants, what um, some doctors achieved, and all those things, and some professors achieved achievements. They talk about research papers that were written, and uh, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe in researches that were made here. A couple of people I do believe, genuine people, but mostly people just do it for a project purpose, for graduation purposes, and then they present that on that meeting. And I've never heard promoting the profession. And it's so funny for me because that's what I feel. African Union should be promoting African unity. It's a union, for God's sake. But it's not promoting African Union. It's not talking about African Union. Is not talking about African unity. It's just talking about what the EU will give them, or the funding that the IMF will give. Who defines? I mean, we're the ones who are giving to the world. I don't know if you've heard. If you haven't heard, I don't know if I can share that. It's on TEDx. I don't think I can share that video with you. But there's this amazing talk show once I heard. Her name is Malens Bart Williams, and she's from Africa. And I'm trying to remember where she is actually from. Um, Sierra Leone. So she's from Sierra Leone, and um, she talks about like she studied economics, marketing, and all those things. And then she said, it puzzles me how that $1 paper is worth our, I don't know, 5 kilos of gold. Despite studying in the best universities in the world, she's still puzzled by that. And that's the same thing. We're still puzzled. We are the ones who are giving the gold and the diamonds, and nothing is in our favor. Nothing. Not even Twitter. Not even YouTube. Not even Facebook. Nothing is in our favor. We know that. Yet we call out for them. When Egypt had a conflict with Ethiopia with the GERD, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dome, they didn't come to African Union because they knew that African Union is incapable of resolving the issue. One, and I don't know, like they knew the facts, but they actually still went to the Security Council and they wanted to change the history. The, what do you call it? change it into a conflict of the world, make it the conflict. And I'm happy what the answer to Egypt was like. It's not our problem. This is not their problem. It wasn't their problem. Why do we make a Russian and a Ukrainian problem our problem then? Since our problems are not their problems. Since the humanitarian crisis in Ethiopia is not their problem. Since the inflation in Ethiopia is not their problem, why should we care about their problems? When they have problems, we tend to have the entire media focused and talking. And it's so interesting for me. They talk and talk and talk about it's like, what? Most of the time where I live, we don't have light. No media talks about that. Why don't we have lights? Infrastructure issues. We're paying tax. We don't have that. There are corrupt people around us. We're not talking about them. We're talking about Ukraine and Russia, and how it affects Africa, how it affects Ethiopia, how it affects everyone. Oh, come on, for God's sakes. We need to quit on those things and really work towards developing Africa and using African potential to its maximum. When you use your potential to the maximum, then you'll be able to die empty with, like, you will be remembered. You'll be uh, the forefathers who left Africa for the African grandchildren with a strong military, with a strong unity, with a strong economy, with strong potential utilization, with strong educational systems, with strong philosophies, values, norms that we need to develop. No one said we need to get stuck with the old norms that we had. We can develop norms. We can modify norms. We can make new norms for Africa, fit for Africans. That's where One Africa relies. If you really you want to use uh, the potential that you have as a person, as an individual, that's where you need to work on. That's where I need to work on. So that's how I see it. Sam has been commenting and commenting at. Sorry, Sam, I didn't ignore you, but yes. For example, I've heard many people discuss about Will slapping Chris Rock. We could have had a discussion about that. Actually, Sam, I had a rough discussion on WhatsApp group about this issue because one person came and made it. This isn't how a black person should have acted. Um, the 9/11 happened, and Americans destroyed Afghanistan and Iraq. Um, they didn't have any reasons. Um, they didn't, to be honest. They attacked, but we never said anything because we believed that our Muslim brothers and our Middle East brothers were not humans. They demonized them, and they taught us that they're evil. I stand to disagree with them. So Will slapping Chris Rock is, for me, it was an emotional moment. Um, I, I don't want to take sides of anything, but I want to. Like, this is capitalizing on, like when a black man does it, it's always talked about. Probably not on the Oscar, but they've done it a lot of places. They've slapped the world. They've created chaos everywhere, but no one still blames them. But we blame a single person when he was made fun of and all those things. That's my personal opinion. We could have those kind of discussions that we can't have, and still we can have on our maybe African traditions with Tanzan, and we can try, or mine. In the next session, we can do that, and we can try to shed light to the world. Um, to be a whole show about Will slapping Chris, but we can include hot topics, work around them, and this will also be very good for the YouTube algorithms. Yes, Sam, that's a good one. For example, what would have happened if Teddy Afro got up and on stage slapped a comedian? Whatever his actions would have been, how does that reflect with an African culture? This is just an example. Yes, yes, we're humans. That we don't have to forget that one too. I mean, we can discuss these issues too. Um, Bemnit Zegeye said, Ebenezer, that TEDx video is my favorite. Bemnit, by the way, that TEDx video is what gave me hope about Africa. That TEDx video gave me hope. And I'm not going to lie that it's the only video that I actually love so far. And I keep watching and rewatching it. And I'm to a point, I've reached to a point where I can memorize it actually. So we care about Russia because they are security shield for Ethiopia. If it weren't for Russia and China, I'm not sure if USA would have been deterred from invading Ethiopia or at least breaking many rules. Yeah, I do agree on that one, but we don't need to be pulled in their mess. That's what I'm just suggesting. This is time for us to capitalize. True, here it is in the news when there is a power blackout. Okay. Okay. All right. Marit, everyone, give me one moment. I need to plug my laptop. I am back, and let's continue. So, needing approval from others and not giving ourselves enough credit. Tanzan. I'm still waiting for Pastor Isra, and I haven't been able to get in touch with him. Uh, I don't know. Um, we tried to give him a call. I don't know why he didn't share our link. Stream link. Dr. Abenezer sent the stream link. Ephraim has been asking me to send him thumbnail for current stream. Um, I don't know how to do that, to be honest, because I don't have administrative privileges to the link. But I can ask Mika to help me share the link with you guys so that we can go in the show. So we'll be sharing the link very soon, and uh, you can join in. Ephraim, probably Mika will send the link out, and we'll be talking in the show. You'll be in the show and part of the show. So yeah, so many people are watching this show right now, and I really appreciate it. Okay, Who is it here? Oh, okay. Yes, now you can join in with the link and you can come in. Um, yeah, it's already shared. You can join me live and we can discuss this in the live show room, and I'll take your opinions. You can share them with also the family uh, all over. Tanzan said needing approval from others and not giving ourselves credit is one of the biggest problems. That's one of actually the most biggest problem, and also the most dangerous one, because we're losing many human resource to the outside world because we're not giving approval to our own people. We need to start learning to grow our people. We need to let them make mistakes. That's what we need to really do. We really need to work on uh, the mentality where people don't make mistakes, they do. And I think that's okay. So I think you can see me clearly. So need to okay. Russia was supportive, but I'll be on as soon as I can. Tanzan, I'll be expecting you. Russia, Hope says here, Russia was supportive, but we have a lot of problem of our own, and yet we're talking about Russia going to war with Ukraine, and I don't think it's important to talk about them while we have our own thing. Thank you, Hope. That's one thing that we really need to work on, because we have a lot of problems that we need to solve, and we're not doing anything about ours, but we're talking about what's happening in Russia. So we need to really work on the idea and the mentality that yes, Russia and Ukraine are people, and we love them, we care for them. We would like them to resolve their issues, their problems in their own way, and we have faith in them that they will do it. But we need also to work on ourselves too. So that's one thing that we really need to work on. Do you have the original link he sent you? Tanzan, I don't. I do have the original link. I shared it on YouTube, um, but I wasn't able to do anything. Um, I, I don't know. I don't know, Tanzan. I don't have anything so far. Marit said she can't join tonight, just in the chat today. Love to have you here, Marie, but if you can't join, maybe next session you'll be part of it, and then you can enjoy the show. We're having a little bit of technical problems sharing the link, I think. Um, so that's we'll try to solve it. And Okay, Tanzan is trying to join, but she can't. I think seems like people are not joining. Tanzan is trying. If there's anyone here, I'll put them on screen. Um, okay, Tanzan is. All right, so the discussion will continue on the potential, the potential of Africa and the potential of every country in Africa. It's gonna keep going, and we're gonna keep working towards entrepreneurial activities and creative and innovative ideas that we need to work on in Africa. Uh, Tanzan tried to join through the link that Mika has already shared with us. If you can't see the link, Mika will share it again. It's just up in the comments above. You can see it above Hope. You can see the link to join the show. I do see it just above my last message, Tanzan, just above the last message of Marit. You can see the link. Here's the link once again from Swahili Nation. You can just join from that one. I see it. Give me a few minutes to connect, and then okay. All right, Tanzan. We need a um, fresh look to this topic because we really need to come up with a strategy, with a plan on changing and accepting changes that are going to happen in Africa, and that the new generation has to take charge of the changes that are happening in Africa, and we need to really work on towards that. It's like Africa is in a cocoon, uh, and we're gonna go stages of metamorphosis, like changing, growing, and when we do that, it's going to be challenging. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy because it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be challenging. But that there is one thing that we are sure of. The outcome is something of worth doing. Um, it's something that we leave for our grandchildren. It's a legacy that we leave behind us. And that's the kind of ethics and moral that we really need to leave behind. The generation that we're living among is really hard to see through. Like you could see through lots of people, but the generation that we're living in, it's really hard to see them through, to come through, like those things, like the challenges that we're facing. For example, I had a traumatizing video that I saw yesterday. A schoolmate being killed by his own schoolmates, like stoned in Addis. I saw the video and I was traumatized, and I said, "This is a generation that we're gonna hand over African unity to, and what are we doing? Why are we still sleeping? Why are we resting? Why are we at peace with what we have?" Because um, I'd like to, um, like that's the generation that we'll be working on, and to work on that generation is gonna cost us time, effort. and really need to work on redefining moral values, the values of. That's why I went into to use the potential that we have. I went to the human touch today. I'm not talking about the potentials today. I'm not talking about the minerals that we have, the resources that we have. I'm talking about the potential that we have as people, uh, to love one another. That's one potential that we haven't utilized. We have a tolerating culture, and we're not doing that so far. We're more focused on kind of hate that we are, turbulating around. We're just running it around. So, Tanzan, welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Finally, we made it.
Yes, yes. Actually, I was catching up because I don't like to join in before I catch up with what people are saying. I'm like, oh, I don't want to put in. What are you talking about? So I
Exactly.
listened. I listened to the entire show, and you
Okay.
made some excellent, excellent points. Especially in regards to when you say that seeking approval. I think that one is what hit me the most, because that's one of the reasons why we're so, in the state that we're in. We don't trust our people. If somebody tells you something, you don't trust it. You want somebody else, either European or Western, or somebody to come and validate it in order for it to be true. So
Yep.
we don't even respect ourselves that way, in that we don't give ourselves enough credit. Even some of the things that our inventions, even our geniuses, we have so many unsung heroes, and our problem is we don't even sing about them. We just assume that, oh well, I hope somebody takes him and makes something of him. I know about a Zimbabwean who had a very interesting innovation, and all people could say is, oh, I hope somebody picks him up, instead of us supporting him and saying, what can we do to help our brother succeed? So yeah, so I'm interested in how we can develop that. Before we even talk about love and all that, we should start by even having confidence in ourselves, in our ability to to achieve things, even in our ability to think. Because when you started earlier, when you said that if somebody comes and then thinks in a different way, most people will look at them and say, oh, you're being anti this, you're not being societal norms, you're trying to change things, and you're trying to do things differently. Well, what we have done has not been working. So if somebody comes with a new idea, we should listen to them and try to see what they're talking about and how we can benefit from it. But a lot of the times, when even our own people come with great ideas, we don't really listen, because it's our own people. The whole "a prophet is not honored in his country" applies so much to us as Africans and Black people, more than to any other people. Look at these other people, Americans and Europeans and all that. When you go to their countries, what do you see? Just all their heroes, and a lot of them are horrible, exaggerated people. But here in America, they even worship Christopher Columbus, and we know what he did and who he did it to, and we know the history. But they celebrate him, they have a day for him. So even they're bad people, they still celebrate them. We don't even celebrate our good ones. Where do we have Nyerere Day or Nkrumah Day or One
Mm.
Africa Day, or things
Nice.
like that? When
Yeah.
do we? Sorry.
Nice. Nice. You're right.
Yeah, we really take our heroes for granted, and we don't appreciate what it takes, even for somebody to stand above the crowd, for somebody to say, let me try to do something differently for my people, for myself, for my family, for my community. We don't really look at that as something respectable. And yet, at the same time, we like all the new things. Like if you go to Africa now and you have, an American logo, or all these, European fashion brands, all of this stuff, oh, that we like. It's not part of us. It's strange and foreign and all that, but we embrace that. But if one of us comes up with something that is new, not even strange, just something new, oh,
Yep.
they uproar against it. So it's not that we are even against new things, because obviously we seem to embrace everything that's foreign. It's just that we don't appreciate it if one of us brings that different idea. We'll just look at them and like, who does he think he is, trying to tell us this and that.
Exactly, Tanzan. Because we can't accept what is ours. Like,
Mhm,
even, I mean, there are values that we don't accept as an African. There are values that we don't accept as Ethiopian. Uh,
mhm,
when it is done in Ethiopia, uh,
mhm,
and like, then there is values that we're okay with. Like,
mhm.
when they do it.
Yeah,
When they do it, it's okay. For
yeah.
example, like, it's okay for them to do whatever they want, however they please. We
Mhm,
have this thing in Ethiopia that says, not knowing what the law says doesn't make you inaccountable. Like, you're still
mhm.
accountable for the law, right?
Yes, yes.
So, but when the white man does it, and when someone from a tourist does it, it's a different story. Even someone from Kenya, when they do it, it's a different story.
Mhm,
When someone from, like, Kenyans are treated as Ethiopians in Ethiopia, but when
mhm.
the European does it, I mean, they sometimes they even drive without driver's license here. The
Wow.
Europeans, nobody's going to ask them. Sometimes they drive with expired driver's license, and like, since he's European, there's nothing basically, like, it feels like there's nothing they can do. The law doesn't work on them. And there were times that a Chinese guy murdered one guy, and then he was released from prison. And they
Wow.
said, for what do you call it, the economic relations that we have with China is far more important than an individual committing a crime. This is it. When they do it, it's fine. When we do it, it's wrong. Even a good thing, I mean, I'm talking about bad things right now, but when you, like you said, as long as it's strange, it's okay when they do it. But when we do it, it's not okay. They tend to throw stones at you, and they tend to beat you up to it. So you raise a really nice point, actually.
Yeah, so this idea of self-esteem, self-confidence, and even, it starts with oneself as a person. We have to be able to be confident enough to pursue our visions, even personally. That's how, and you know that you're going to get opposition, you're going to have people who are going to be skeptical about what you're trying to do. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of our heroes have gone through. Even when they were trying to do good, even when they were trying to help their people. I remember Amilcar Cabral, he made a statement when I think it was like near the end of his life, and he said, how do I help people who do not want my help? Because he had worked tirelessly for his people. He had defended African people and talked about, culture and tried to propagate culture. And yet in his hometown, a lot of the time he was either ignored or criticized or just, very much maligned. And that's not just for him. You can see how even up to now we don't really give that respect we have for our people. Even if somebody doesn't succeed, even if somebody just is trying to do something, not even has that much power, but they're trying to do something different, we don't regard that as worthy of praise or consideration. So I think the first thing that we should do is we should start lionizing our heroes. We should start making a big deal out of it. Hold on.
Okay. I actually agree with you. There has to be a Nelson Mandela Day. There has to be, um, yeah, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah Day. We have to have those days that we remember our heroes with. And actually, Tanzan raised an amazing point. We really need to work on branding and rebranding Africa. As long as Africans are kept in the dark with the thought of, the color black, and the color black is in what do you call it, in a bad situation, and then we keep that as an African, and then we even believe it. We even tend to believe it. I don't know if you've read the book that says um, how how Africa developed Europe. He actually mentions all the things that are necessary to know in that book. Um, it's Nkwazi and Dot Mahango. So he discusses a lot of things and how actually Africa developed Europe. And also, there's a book that says how Europe underdeveloped Africa. So those are the things that we can read and like learn a lot from that. So Hope said, "Let's be realistic. This is a generation that is on hibernation. May God wake us up." And that's an amazing one. I would like to see this on the screen because it's really nice. Um,
Yes, I've read it. I mean, not read it, but I've heard of it a little bit.
okay. All right. So go on, Tanzan. Are you there? Can you hear me, Tanzan?
Oh, give me just a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
Uh, yes, brother. Today I won't be able to stay too long, but I just wanted to come in and and support you and have a great discussion. So
Okay.
yeah, but go ahead, go ahead.
All
I
right.
missed your last point.
Okay. So the point that we're trying to raise is when we talk about potential of Africa, we have to talk from different perspective because this show is interesting. Our show is interesting in many different aspects because now we have Isra, we have you, we have Mika, and the rest of the team. Pastor Israel is also part of this, and he gives us the weekly recap and all those things. But in the meantime, it's interconnected. The shows are interconnected. Like when I talk about potential, I have to talk about education. When I talk about potential, I have to talk about traditions, about culture, about norms. Which one we need to keep? Which one do we need to modify according to African values and to the changing world? So like we really need to work towards one another's sessions. It's interrelated. There are things that I can raise from you, and there are things that I can raise from Israel. There are things that you can raise from me. This is, I think, how it goes. So
Yes, and to add to that, I would also say that, we have to examine, maybe sometimes it's our traditions when you say, our stories don't really reflect our values, the stories that we teach each other. We don't
yeah,
sing about, the heroes, we don't sing about the great things that a lot of us have done. It's usually just, stories that maybe entertain or, morals, but, when it comes to real life, I don't think we have given credit to, the people who made us, who we are at this point. So that's also one of the things that's lacking. I know everything is connected, but even in education, in schools, we're not really taught about the legacy, what came before. We only taught to look for the future, and just go to school, and the whole employment instead of legacy. So in that respect, everything is connected, and we have to see how we can use everything that we have, to move forward and to become a greater people. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to work on a strategy. That's what I've been saying earlier. We really need to come up with a strategy, with a plan, a strategy, a strategic plan. We need to develop that one to for the way forward, because this shouldn't be just a conversation between you and me, or between me and Mika, and between the viewers and us. This shouldn't be just a conversation. It has to be more than a conversation. It has to, grow big. Then we need to grow it bigger and bigger every time. And when we do that, this conversation need to be recorded into a strategic form, and they need to take shape in their nature. And we need to shape the culture, we need to shape the education, we need to show the potential, what can be done, and all those things has to be part of our plan. I think it has to be part of our plan.
Absolutely. And we are the bearers. We have the responsibility, especially those of us who know and those of us who are here, Swahili Nation and everybody. We have the important responsibility to pass on the information to the next generation. So
Hmm.
it's our duty to restructure. Like you said, if somebody comes up with a new idea, it's our responsibility to support that idea, to propagate it, and to share it with people. Sometimes our problem is just one of ignorance and not so much of stubbornness or all that. Sometimes people just don't know, and especially Mika, he has done a lot, to show us the beauty of our continent. He has done a lot to show us the beauty of our people, and not just to show us, but to engage with people. Today he had a program where he was going around this park, and there was animals, and it was so beautiful. And just to see it, we can't all be everywhere, but we can support those people who do, make those connections. So
True.
yeah, and Sam is right. We need the channel to grow, So it's our responsibility, each and every one of us, and even all of you in the comments. So absolutely.
Yeah, I think we need to use it. We do need to.
Brother, I have to be going now, but I will be supporting you in the background for sure.
All right.
But go
Okay,
ahead.
then. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for your opinion. Thank you very much, Sam. Yeah, we do need the channel to grow, and we really need it to get bigger than this. And yes, we need to share it. We need to, let it be known to everyone. And we need to support the channel too. We need ideas that, like Sam, you're full of ideas. I know that, and you can come to the platform and help us develop a strategic plan. Um, we're all new to this. Probably I'm the one who's very new to this one, and we need to work towards growing the channel into becoming one of the best viewed channel. We need to add some, what do you call it, taste into it. We need to come with plans.
Oh, before I do, let me just say one thing also to everybody. Don't be afraid to speak up, to join in, to lend your voice. None of us ever thought we would be here, doing this and talking. It's not something that we ever thought we would do, but sometimes you just have to step up. Sometimes you may have very great points, and some we're still waiting for you. But we see very interesting and intelligent people in the comment section, and we encourage you, to come on. This is also one way of growing the channel. People want to hear your voice, Sam.
Yeah.
And Marie Antoinette, thank you always for being here, both in the comment and for coming on, from time to time when you can. It's amazing, it's incredible, and we're grateful for all of you. We're grateful for Mika for providing the platform. I'm grateful for my co-hosts, for always being here for each other, and we're grateful to all of you. who help us, who encourage us and inspire us to continue doing this. So
And and
much
could you
appreciation.
could you encourage Beminette Zegeye, because she's been providing us with an amazing topics today. I mean, with an amazing idea, but she's not joining still. And also Sam is very scared of being on the screen. You can just put an avatar on and then just join one. Marie Antoinette has been joining, and I think she's busy today. She didn't join, but if you guys could come up with a plan, an idea, you can come on the screen. We're all new to this. We never thought we'd be doing this, but we're here doing it. So it's actually okay to be here, and it's fine. You can share your opinions. You can be nervous once, but not forever. You can't be nervous forever. So you have to join in. Thank you, Tanzan, for encouraging them, and please do that again. And just tell Sam to join because he hasn't been
Thank you.
joining. All right. So I want to share one thing with you, guys. A quote that actually uh, I really like. When If you don't know her, maybe you know her. Most of you, I think you've heard this many times. Um, Marianne Williamson. Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I want you to keep this in mind, and like this will uh, this will help us. Like this quote actually helped me a lot on believing in myself and in my ideas, in my uh, like life principles and all those things. So to utilize this, we need to come together, and this is a platform of coming together and people working together, um, and everything. So Tanzan said, "Thank you all for your support. We look forward to hearing from you." Yes, Tanzan is encouraging you. Ebenezer, very soon. Let me show you all the language site first. The language site. Sam, could you elaborate on that one? Because Marit is asking you. Also, you want to own your own show at Sam. Yeah, it would be nice to have Sam around. Like we really need to hear a lot from you. And Marit is in Holland, and she's joining us. She's giving us a perspective that we haven't seen, and you see, like we need people. People, we really need people to listen to this and share with us many ideas that they have in their mind. Um, have a good day. I think Big E was trying to get through, but I don't think he made it. So yeah.
Yes,
So
thank you. And I
okay.
hope he can get in. If he does, I'll still be, listening in the background. But yes, thank you for having me and for a great show. Thank you.
All right, all right. Thank you, Tanzan. Thank you for your support. All right, Bemnet Zegeye, I would like to have you on this show. Um, I think I know who Bemnet Zegeye is because from the things that you've been writing, I think I know you. And I'm gonna invite you on this show. whether with a phone call or anything. I'm gonna invite you in. You're gonna have to be part of this. You're gonna have to support this by bringing your bright ideas, because I've been reading a lot of the things that you wrote. And for example, yeah, you like the TEDx show. That's something that we actually have something in common. And uh, yeah, uh, enjoying your session. Good job. Our stories matter. I've got to chance to travel in most parts of Ethiopia. It's mesmerizing how different stories are. Hate is wrapped in the stories. Children grow up listening to these stories. That those are amazing points that you raised. These are the things that we really need to work on when it comes to changing our using and utilizing our potential in a different way. So yeah, this is important for us. So yeah, Bemnet, we really need you in the live show. Yeah, you had the chance. I had also the chance to travel uh, to some parts of Ethiopia, and this is what happens when I travel. I don't actually see the stories in there. Um, I actually see the potential around their neighborhoods. Why people are complaining about water, why people are complaining about. I just don't see, uh, like the things that we say are waste in Ethiopia are funny because they're actually gold. The things that we throw as waste are gold, and we produce lots of things, but we utilize half of the things that we produce and throw away many of the things that we uh, actually produce. So we really need to work on that one. So Bemnet, could you join us and be part of this live stream? Because I would love to hear your opinion about African potential, what you see around you, and what needs to change. Because here we want to weaponize our agents of change and send them out to the world with the idea of changing, and uh, changing the continent in its entirety. So if you're here, Bemnet, could you please join in, or do you want us to share the? All right, okay, we'll let you in the. We'll let you in. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the delay. Just wait, 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 wait. Hello, Bemnet.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for
It is
joining
funny
me.
that we know each other.
Okay. I
Yeah.
think I know you, right? Should I guess?
Yes, I think you can guess.
All right. So you sent me a WhatsApp message saying go best. Good.
Yes,
So now I know who you are.
yes.
Thank you.
You
So,
cannot be mistaken.
yeah,
Yes.
I
So I just saw your show today. Did it
okay.
start? Did it start too long ago? When did it start? And will it be on Thursday every time?
Yeah, every Thursday 9 p.m. I'll have this show every Thursday 9 p.m. And it started only actually. This is my third show, so
Okay,
you're not
okay.
very far away from the entire concept.
So it's nice. I just
Yeah.
saw it today, so I really enjoyed it, and I
Okay.
also enjoy your comments and your thoughts
Mm-hmm.
on WhatsApp group, and also sometimes on the Swahili Nation what you raise. So I think we need people like you, and I'm so happy that you are
Thank
doing
you.
this.
Thank you very much. And not
So
only I,
before
only
I
my.
forget,
Okay.
before I forget, I just want to really back up what Tanzan has said. She really
Mm-hmm.
speak my heart
Oh.
about our heroes and what I have seen also in what's happening in Ethiopia, how we lost our heroes,
Mm-hmm.
and in general, who are our heroes? When we think about it, and as a country, also what makes us fragile is that we don't have common heroes. And those stories that I have been trying to mention earlier um, also involve some heroes in different pattern of stories. So
Okay.
we have to make sure that we keep our heroes, and also to have a common heroes, and also make sure that our stories align with our agenda.
True. 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 That's a good
Yes,
thing.
so what she have said is really, really beautiful. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Because this discussion started a long time ago. We had a two Nigel and one. I forgot his name. When I remember, I'll tell you what his name is. It's a bit tricky name, but from the Caribbean, we had a friend who was joining us live, and he also suggested that we need to. I suggested we need to really redefine education and the curriculum that we teach in our country, because our heroes are not indicated in their findings, our cultural findings, our cultural these antique things that we have in our culture. For example, we had whatever people produce today, like a cup or a mug. We had it made, we had it already designed in a traditional way, and we didn't give credit to those, and we didn't try to improve them and make them get introduced to the world. So we failed in believing in ourselves starting from that point, I think. So we need to really redefine what we have, and we really need to rebrand our heroes. Uh, so, do you like? I would like to ask you, like, when you see Ethiopia, you have had the chance to travel in many places, because my show is all
Mhm.
about potential, innovation, and creativity, and also like inventions, new opportunities for Africans, so that we can have an African solution to African problems. And Tanzania also owns a show in the week, one of the days. I'll let you know in WhatsApp when her show is, and you can join
Mhm.
her too. That's African tradition. We have education with Professor Isra, and also recap with Pastor Isra, and like diaspora talks with Big E. These are the people that we're trying to connect the dots, so that we can utilize the potential properly. So when you travel in Ethiopia, when you see Ethiopia, what around you, because in my opinion, Africa is actually sleeping on gold and begging for bread. This is how I see it.
That
Uh,
is that is
that's,
so true. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yes.
could you say something?
Um, yes. Yes. So it is. We are really, really sleeping on gold, and some other individuals are coming in and taking the gold, and we will be so angry at the end. But we are the one who are sleeping and not doing anything about it. Um, in the first place, I don't like the idea of aid, getting an aid. I don't believe that we should be aided. And most of the places that I was in, where where refugee camps were there, and there were so many aid workers, and also supporting the individuals. And I have been in a very fertile areas in Ethiopia, in western parts of Ethiopia, and um, it is really fertile. It is so amazing that there is malnutrition in that area, and most importantly, it is the education was killed in the past. I don't know how 16 years ago what was there, but in the past 40 or 45 years, education was completely killed. People do not the children are not getting enough education, and there is also a very big gap in communication with each other within the country. So these individuals are most of the time there is a fertile land which is not farmed, and there is a lot of potential that that is just there. So that is what I have seen. But in general, the population is very nice, and I don't know if there is some leader that can show the way. I think we in that areas, and most individuals in Ethiopia are followers, very good followers. But we lack leadership, we lack system. Um, I think that has affected us a lot, and our system really depends on aid. Whenever we think about uh, innovating something, creating something, it is a lot of work, a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of issues in the leadership. So that is where I see the fault in, and also in the education is also like, I don't know. It is a very big job to think about what to do. Again, what I have seen is that a beautiful country, a beautiful continent with a beautiful regions with a very amazing potential that can be, yeah, that is what I have witnessed.
Yeah, because
and and we have a lot of human power as well. We should not forget about that, but we
mhm,
need to work on the education. So
mhm,
even when industries, like when investors comes in
yeah,
with all their perks, still we need the investors to come in, but they need also a trained manpower. We don't have that manpower, but we have the population with the that is also another one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bemnet, let me pose you and add up a question to you because uh like, yes, we do have human resources. Yes, we do have technical individuals who can do technical stuff. There is a gap, I understand, on the education, because uh, by the way, for our viewers, Bemnet is a doctor and medical doctor. So she's working in Ethiopia, and she's been traveling. So I know her personally, and I've had actually a chance to meet up in person and like share words. And this is amazing because I see that we do have lack of education system that's functional. That's one thing that I've been saying for the past 2 years since I started communicating with Mika, who actually established this forum for members in or Swahili Nation Network family to communicate and like raise the voices of young Africans and bring them together. This is a chance for us to get together and come up with different plan. So in the education system, there's a gap. Not only that, in our political system, there is this culture of disrespecting our own. For example, you're a medical doctor, but if when you're a medical doctor and when you're working in one hospital, if someone from the US comes or from someone from the like Europe comes, and you'll be taken for granted rather, and people would like to flow towards the, you know, towards the white individual who came from Europe, because just because he's from Europe. I understand the perspective. That has been a challenge for, I think, the Africans. And then there's an overflow of people trying to get out of Ethiopia, get out of Kenya, get out of Tanzania to go to Europe and Canada and America. And when you ask them, most of the time, they say like, once you go there and when you come back, people start respecting. This is the only issue that we have, and it's not just to get knowledge, it's just to capitalize on the idea of I'm a diaspora, so I was in Europe, so I have a better experience. That's why people want to go out of Ethiopia or out of Kenya and come back to their
Yeah,
country
yeah.
as a diaspora. So what do you say is the gap on the education system? Where did we actually fail so that we do not use our human resource potential and every resource that we have, we're not using it to our fullest potential?
All right. Some things you have said, you have been saying, I will agree, but some of the things that I would not agree. So I believe that we okay, to believe to go to Europe and to come as a diaspora. I think it is a lame idea, but to come with good skills, because we need some skills to go to Europe, US, to learn some skills, and to come back with the skills. Then that is a good idea as an individual. But as a country, our education system, it starts from kindergarten. So when children are taught, um, I think we, first as a country, we need to have a common teaching system. Our children should learn like common values, common history, not a different histories, different ideologies, so that they will grow up old, and then in the end they will argue when it comes to history. But from the beginning, look at our kindergarten. I don't know when the system changed, but if you remember, a person who fails 10th grade will will be a teacher, like will go a kind of a diploma program and will be a teacher.
In
Do
a
you know this?
kindergarten. Yeah,
Do
in
you
a
know this?
kindergarten. Yeah, yeah, I
Yes,
do.
in a kindergarten, even in the elementary school, these are the teachers.
Yeah,
Those who failed and
yeah.
who cannot continue, and nobody wants to be a teacher. But I think to be a teacher, you have to be gifted and you have to want it, and you have to uh, believe in something that you are shaping the future generation. But most individuals, they don't. Most of the teachers, especially in the elementary school and in the kindergarten, especially in the government schools, which most of the students in Ethiopia learns in, are taught by a teacher who doesn't have a purpose, or who doesn't value that he or she is a teacher. That starts from there. So
Hmm.
these students are not getting enough, not enough, like even optimal education, and they will grow up and it will just counting the grades, and then finally they will reach in the university, and the university, or some of them might go into college. And I had a chance to work in this rural area, that there was a private college, and in that college there was a student. So I reached in and I was going to teach a fourth year students, meaning that they are going to graduate and they are going to start work like after 6 months. So I was teaching, and this person could not even write their name properly, could not even explain. I mean, where can I go from from there? I just I just stopped. So it starts from early, from the beginning. So the teachers, I believe, should. Hello.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Teaching is a gift. Uh, this okay, let me take I do agree 100%. I mean 1,000% actually. If there's a percentage of 1,000, I would agree with you. I would like to let Bemnet, are you there?
Sorry.
Bemnet,
Sorry.
are you
Yes.
there?
Yes. So
Yes,
my
yes.
connection was lost, I think.
All right.
So uh, I believe, yeah, I it starts from those who are teaching. It should start from there, and then it should also start from the education system. I think it should be started from the beginning. Now we have lost. I think we are in the same generation, me and you, and also some individuals who started this channel. For me, as I feel like, our generation is lost, because of this skilled system. So this, who created this system, I don't know. You know, there might be some foreign aspect to it. To just for us to be dull, and just to, as one person was saying on the comments, that we are hibernating. So maybe, but as a country, if we need to grow, we need to see who our teachers are. So the
True.
teachers should be selected wisely. I think if you fail, imagine a person failing grade 10 and sent out to be a teacher. What kind of system? What kind of students do you expect then? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Even department wise, in Ethiopia, basically you cannot choose your own department. I'm gonna come back to you, but I'm gonna hold on there, Bemnet. I'm gonna have an opinion of M. Can you tell me your name and join in, please?
Oh, hey, how are you guys? My name is Mike Mikias. You can call me Miki.
Mickey. All right,
Uh,
Mickey.
yeah, how are you guys doing? Uh, Happy holidays, Patriots Day to Tanzan, who believes in our
yeah.
heroes very much.
All
Yes.
right.
Yeah, so I want to chip in on the idea of the education part. Like, I'm really following up on Ezra, and he's doing a great job. I like want everybody to ship in on Wednesdays to watch his program and follow and share what you have. He's doing a real good job. So as you said, we need to forget about, like, not forget but leave behind who built the structure of education and what has it is done to us. That's in our past. So when we move forward, we need to work on the strategies of fixing those caused problems. And one strategy that I see is trying to implement education into every organization, not only the schools and the institutes of education, but also in every workplace, using different methods to educate the employees that are not educated in the modern state of education, but are working on the sector of their organization. So if we like ship in a couple of hours of their working hours, we can educate everybody in a short period of time without sending those people out of their works and to night schools and draining them out with two tasks in hand: their work for survival and at the same time their means for education. I think that's one strategy that I see upon.
All right. That's an amazing opinion, Mikias, and thank you for joining in. Sorry for jumping in. So we this is what I said earlier. We need to reconnect the dots. That's what we're doing. Israel is working on education, and I'm working on potential. My department in this network or in One Africa is, um, seeing potential. I see potential wherever I go, so that's what I see. So, Mikias, I want you to tell me what you see as a potential in our country, in where you live. I mean, or for example, you're right that Israel is doing an amazing job. I don't want to take away his department and say talk about education, but this is also related to education. That's why we're still talking about it. And Bemnet, Dr. Bemnet also mentioned that education is crucial from kindergarten. So in Ethiopia, you cannot choose your department; it's chosen for you based on your grades, and the grading system is, teachers choose. I had a chance to be a school director once for 1 year, so I can also, like, I've worked in many different areas. I do lots of things, but that's one of the things that I did once, and I worked in an amazing school. I still keep in touch with them. The principal of the school, the owner of the school, actually said, I will not grade kids number one, number two, the best outstanding student. For me, everyone is outstanding. And parents were like crazy about it. So, what do you think about collaborative education system? Because this could be an assignment for, I want to ask you both. Um, Collaborative education system, we're using a competitive education system where there's competition. So kids or children want to be outstanding, number one, so they can be rewarded, and their parents, by their school, everyone will reward them. But one thing I learned from that owner of school is I'll interview him next week, and I'll post it on Thursday's show. I'll be videotaping him and also interviewing him at the same time. So I want to put him on that platform and ask him some questions, because I'm going to ask you guys. There is a competitive education system. There is a collaborative education system. The collaborative, you help one another. The competitive, you compete to win. I think that's what we're using so far. So, what do you think to utilize the potential that we have? I want Bemnet and Mikias to take at least 3 4 minutes to talk about this. Let me start with Bemnet, and I'll come back to Mikias, and then we can go from that one. Bemnet.
Okay, hello. You can start with Mickey. Yes, I will come. I will just come back.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay, Mikias, go on.
Uh, so when we see the competitive part, we should start from the meaning itself, like the competition. So how are we competing? Are we competing to improve one another and improve ourselves, or are we competing just to win the race? Like if we're competing to win the race,
Yeah.
if you have a good ideology, you're gonna work hard to win the race at the same time improve yourself and improve the colleague. But if you're just winning with the mentality to win, and if you can
Hmm.
bring out your full potential, you'll try to bring the other person down. So
Yeah.
that's the taking out the collaborative part. But as you said, if we're collaborating, we can use the collaboration at the same time in a competition way, by strengthening yourself and showing how you're strengthening and improving yourself to your competitor. He's gonna do the same thing. But you both have a good mentality, so trying to win the race, you're both collaborating and competing against each other. So we are like subconsciously programmed the bad ideology, I believe, because everybody wants to stand out in the numbers perspective, like the quantitative part, not the qualitative part. That's the main issue I see the education that I went through personally.
Yes. So you do believe that the education system has to be redefined and rediscovered in Africa so that we can utilize the potentials in Africa.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Because we need to redesign in the methods of like simply on the theoretical part when we're learning in classrooms, we need to use examples like when we bring out one theory of some topic, we then give an example of that theory, right? So when we give the example, we need to put it into ground, not to put it into the perspective of things we don't understand, especially our education structure is an international one. Most of, like, we can say all of it, but using our example should be localized and try to bring it into the basis of ground. Then we can create potential uh, people that can fix problems right in front of them rather than imagining the problems that are given an example of the maybe other continents that are given in the books and the curriculum. So we're imagining, like you said, when you started the program, you said imagination is one of the key concepts. So
Yep.
we're gonna imagine things uh,
Mikyas, are you
Ethiopia,
there?
Kenya, Tanzania,
Hmm.
and so on.
Yeah. I lost you somewhere, and you just came at the point where you said Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania. So could you try to recap that one?
Are you there? Can you guys hear me?
I can
Yes,
hear you,
yes, we can.
Mikyas. Can you? Hello, Mikyas. Okay. Until Mikyas sets his settings correctly to hear him correct. Um, Bemnet, what do you think?
Yeah, so I was wondering what happened to the school. Is it continuing
Yes, with a
with
lot
the
of challenges. Yes, with
with
a
the
lot of challenges.
collaborative idea?
Yeah,
The parents agree to it.
finally they did because he
Okay.
decided you can leave with your children. I'll raise a collaborative generation, and they decided to
Hmm.
stay in the school with the idea of collaborating. But still, there was a bit of a challenge because parents were focused on their child becoming the number one and the outstanding student.
Hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I think it is very difficult to break
Mhm.
that cycle, the competition. But when I think about competition, I remember this picture where there was a fish, kind of a cheetah, and they were competing on something. And do you remember this picture? This kind of picture about what it is a picture that says something about competition, how everybody has different capacity and different skills.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
oh, from the beginning, yes, before talking about collaborative and competitive education system, just from the beginning, how we structured, as I have been saying, our teachers and our system should be organized,
Mhm.
and collaborative education system should continue. I think should be the way to teach because we grew up in a kind of fixed fixed and rigid system. So we have to follow some rules. In some parts of our journey, we have lost some of our talents, some of you know, if there was no education system, what kind of individuals we would be is also another question that I have. If I don't
Mhm.
have to, follow the education system that was here in Ethiopia, and if I didn't lose some of my talents, you would lose because you are in this rigid system which doesn't allow you to try different different skills and also to find your own what is your own.
Mhm.
So yeah, it will be an ideal educational system. I think. To next week, I think I will just see what this person has to say about the school and how it is doing.
Yeah.
I think it is very interesting. It should be the first one in Ethiopia, or is there another? Do you know there are others?
I think this is the first one. One thing I was faced last time. I went to uh, Sodo, the southern part of Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
I was consulting an organization, an NGO. I was working on children, and I was establishing a new dairy farm over there. So I had a chance to meet the children that they were raising, and I had like the chance to discuss with them, sit with them, ask them their dreams. And all of a sudden a conversation broke out that the Ministry of Education was in the city when I was there to visit a school, a special school over there, where they choose
Mm-hmm.
the very talented students, and they take them to school, to their school, for their reputation,
Mm-hmm.
for the name. And those kids who are in those schools always score the highest. But the problem is they leave the ones that are less scoring, and they just take only the high scoring kids, like two three out of every school. They select them and they take them away from the school, and they just keep them in their school for their reputation. So they don't take kids who have learning problems or challenges in understanding, because there is a different way of learning. Some are visual learners, some are they call them kinesthetic learners. They touch and they learn. Some
Yeah.
learn by listening, and like there's a huge difference in the education system. So like, but like they select the best ones, they choose them, they take them. So I was ashamed because they were appreciating the Ministry of Education coming there, the minister coming there and visiting the school. And I said, actually, that for me, that is a failure. That's what I said. Because what about the kids who are not scoring good? Have you
Hmm.
used a system? Because I've shared this idea before. If you have read the book You Can Win, by Chief Kira, he mentions a story in his book. He says all the animals gathered together to open a school. So swimming was in the curriculum, burrowing was in the curriculum, climbing trees was in the curriculum, flying was in the curriculum, and like these were in the curriculum. So the dog was let out because he said, "I won't join you," and he left because barking wasn't in the curriculum. So what is barking? So finally, when uh, when all started their education, uh, fish failed in all the education in the curriculum except swimming.
Yeah.
And birds tried burrowing, and they even failed not only burrowing, they also failed flying, because while trying to dig the ground, they lost their feathers. They couldn't fly. So
Hmm.
like you said, we lose our talents. We lose our inborn talent because the education system doesn't allow us to reflect ourselves. We don't reflect. It's not self-reflectory. There is no self-reflection when you're in school. They'll tell you, you even from, I will start like earlier you said, from the education, and also you went to kindergarten, and I want to go to the parents too. The parents don't
Hmm.
appreciate the talents of their kids. They just like, maybe the potential of that teacher, that student, was to become a teacher, but due to the parents enforcement, he will become a doctor, a pilot, and he won't be happy because he never dreamt of becoming a doctor or a pilot. He wanted to be a teacher. So we're actually taking and depriving the generation from and that same school I went last time. I actually built them a playground through woodworking. I built them the playground. He wanted a unique playground that other schools don't have, and he said, "I want music teachers. I want arts teachers. Like, we don't
Hmm.
have them in the market." That's what he said, and he said, "May I feel like I'm a criminal for not having a music teacher, because there could be a musician, a composer, there could be Beethoven in here, there could be Mozart in here, but I'm not letting them, discover their talent. That's what he said. And this is,
Hmm.
like, I was surprised, and I said, wow, this guy is like born to be an educator. So yeah, there is this school, and I will try, tomorrow. I'll try to call him and have the interview with him this week, and I'll prepare it, and the editing will be done through Mika, and I think I'll share with you guys the school, and also the person who's running the school. He So it's an amazing idea that you mentioned, because from high school you drop out, then you go to kindergarten, you teach kids, and you're not happy there, because since you're not happy, you'll not generate a happy mood of teaching. And I've worked with
Hmm.
those people, and they're not satisfied, they're not happy at all, they don't even like being around kids. So it's actually toxic for the kids when they don't have that energy, uh, like around them. So like, it has to be, a teacher has to be talented, and a teacher actually has to be, it's all about, it all became about money, it all became about
Yes.
salary. They start complaining about salaries when you ask them to teach, you know so so I think we need to work on education. It's a crucial part of
Yes.
our change. So
Yes, also where it is where, creativity and innovation comes in through education, through trying different skills, through it will make you think when you learn, you think when you read, when you read different books, you think that way, some kind of innovation ideas might come. So that's why education is a major, the cornerstone of everything. And if you want to kill if you want to kill a nation, is that it's very easy just to kill the education system, so
yep.
that that they will not have anywhere to go from there. So yes, that's why I really really wish that it is good that we have started this conversation, that at some point the next generation will have a better a better system, and a better system to grow their own country and the nation. That's what I believe in. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I'm gonna let Mickey come in and then explain, try to finish his point and join in the conversation. Mickey, yes, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
So like you guys have touched almost all points. I don't have much to add, but the thing I want to say is when we see the potential as the main topic for today is the potential. Well, on the potential side, it's all based on the products, right? So it's on the ground, our land, and the potential that we have to compete and cope up with the this world and the basis of the common necessities. And the third one is the main one, but we use it as last is the person, which is the product. So we need to build up that product in the basis of a worldwide scale. So when we do that, it's simply through education. And to implement that education, as we started the today's session, was through hate, right? The main thing that holds our everything in the human body is hate. When you hate something, you're not even willing to listen or see it or do anything, interact with that things. So when we wipe off that hate barrier, everybody can learn as a kid who's just went into kindergarten, fresh minded, clean heart, clean mind. And that's by, as I said before, is eliminating the ego, which is holding us back, as especially above the age of like let's say 16 estimated, because that's when we realize what's really good and really bad at start. So we need to hold our egos back and start off fresh. If we are willing to start off fresh at every level, we can execute our fullest potential without any age barriers. If we let aside our ego, even let's say the 60-year-old person who doesn't have any education, if he asides his age number and all his egos that are built through different causes, he can learn and go to class and be the best student at the same, even faster, because he's already a big person. He can do whatever he wants even before like the kids reach out at the same level of education and the number wise. I think you understand what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
How old
that's
are
how
you?
we
Yes.
let our full potential, I believe so. I'm
Is
23
it
right
a
now.
private question?
It's okay. I think if he's willing to,
uh,
how
it's
old are you?
okay. Me, I'm
Yeah,
23.
23. So you just finished school, or are you still studying?
I'm gonna graduate next year. I'm still studying.
Okay. What are you studying?
Uh, uh, I'm studying on marketing management.
Good, good. That we do need a marketing manager on this network that we are creating, because we are just passionate about One Africa, but we don't know anything about marketing and how to market ourselves and this idea to Africans all over the world. I'm gonna, like, it's been a really nice discussion. And do you think, to use the potential that we have, do you think we're committed and we're dedicated? Do we have the commitment? Let me start from Mikias and I'll go to Bemnet.
Uh, I believe like we have the commitment. I don't, to be honest, like through my research and my personal experience, we have the commitment, but the magnitude will take time, in my sense, because people are uh, mushed up with bad information and bad uh, things. So we need to first recite that and put it on one side and make them like meditate and clean up the bad things that happened to the past. And that I believe will take the most time. But after that, when we set aside the hate and the ego, like I said before, it's gonna be a split second when we are gonna start respecting our people, start respecting our products, start respecting our land, start respecting what we used to have, and digging it out and even modernizing it, and as a marketer providing it into the market into for everybody in the world. That's how big our potential is. Like you said before, we can even feed beings from out of this planet if we use our full potential.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. And that, but there are like as your question, there are people that are committed. I have colleagues around me that are not following up that much on the platform, but personally, we interact on a daily basis on the topics that arise on this. I'm the one that's more engaged in my class, to be honest, but people are, I see their commitment to fix the problems, not on the scope of One Africa because they think it's too big at this level. But you have to imagine, I just imagined and went in, but they fix problems at a daily basis, and I see their commitment to fix those problems. But if we widen our scope and show the world that we have full potential, the committed people for the small grounds, the local to the country to the town to the city to the country, would widen their scopes to the continent and the world. So I believe there's a lot of commitment from my point of view.
Good. Feminine, continue.
Mm. Yeah, yes. Beautiful points, Mikias. Um, yes, there are, I believe there are individuals, and yeah, there are individuals who are committed, and through my experience also, there are individuals who are really committed to change, to also they see the potential, they want to utilize the potential. But the problem is we need to focus. That we lack focus, I think. That we should bring focus on what we can change and what we can control, because it is very wide. As our potential is too big, also our problems and the things that we need to do need we need to have focus. That is what I believe in. And yes, and this kind of platform will really help us to just have common ideas, common individuals, to meet individuals and to talk, to discuss, and also to focus, I believe. So but the commitment is there from most of the individuals that I know, including myself.
Good.
Yes.
Good. It's good to have people who are committed because I think that's what I believe according to the things that I see around me. That's one thing that many of us, not all of us, but many of us lack as an African and as an Ethiopian. So, uh, and like you said earlier, Beminette, also you mentioned, and I was mentioning on those points, it's time to take responsibility instead of shifting the blame. It doesn't matter who's trying to do what outside of our circle. When we avoid the hate that we're providing to the world and to ourselves, to the hate that we're teaching in our stories and all those things, when we avoid them, when we try to cut them out, then that becomes a kind of habit to change the perspective of our generation. Our generation needs time to heal, and then
Mhm.
our generation needs to take charge and also responsibility for changing the outcome of the future. That I was, like we all think things will get better. uh, it's just gonna keep changing. It's not gonna get back to it where it was. It's not. We're not gonna go back to the 1980s. We're gonna just keep going to 2023, 2024, 2050, 2060, 2090, and then it goes on. It doesn't go back to the state. Just as the days and dates change, everything changes with those days. We need to have, like we need to start, like Tanzania here is saying, be willing to start afresh, let go of the ego. That's it. We need to let go of the blame shifting instead of taking responsibility. Yes, we blame everyone. Yes, we blame someone, something, or I don't know, a system that fractured us. But that fracture, we have to find a solution to cover the cracks and then heal up and go forward because life goes on. So in the education system, I think that's what we really need to focus on. And because I've been saying, I want to ask you both one more question though before everything. We're taking 3 hours of live today. I never thought I would do that, but we're taking a really long time, and I think I've been talking too much. I want to ask you one thing because I said Africa is poor by choice. Do you agree on that?
I don't understand it. What do you mean? Africa is okay, okay, okay.
Africa is poor by
Oh,
choice.
yes, yes.
You agree?
Hmm. I think so. We chose. It is difficult to say it, but it is good to accept it and to go forward.
Okay.
So yeah, we choose most of
Uh,
yeah, we have to believe on our choices, and as you have said earlier, that we cannot go anywhere by blaming others, like others by blaming slavery, by blaming the previous government, by blaming the leaders.
Mm-hmm.
We have to take part and take responsibility.
True.
Yes, there are some slippery slopes. There are some slippery slope roads that bring us here where we are now, but we are poor now by choice, and that is, I think, a fact.
Okay. Marit, last week I asked this question, and Marit said, that's brutal and honest, but it was harsh. That's what she said. I want to be brutally honest. That's why I asked you this question. Thank you for the answer. Mikias, do you think Africa is poor by choice? I say Africa is poor by choice. Do you agree?
Uh, Tough question, to be honest, from my perspective. Uh, it's a hard one because there's a lot of forces that caused it, but they made us choose it. I don't want to blame, but the system. Like, it's a tough question. We choose to be poor, but I don't think we chose to be poor, but we chose to stay poor. I think we didn't start by choosing to be poor, but we stayed poor by choice. That's how I see it.
We stayed
Because
poor
we
by
suffered
choice.
a lot. Yeah, we stayed poor by choice until this point, but it didn't start by choice, in my perspective.
I think, yeah, I think someone also commented the same thing last week, on the last week session, that we stayed poor by choice. Definitely. Did we choose? Yes, there are factors. The reason I'm asking this is because, in my line of work, I can see it clearly. When you're working with people, you understand some people are willing to settle down, uh, for less, and that's mediocrity, and being okay with mediocre life. Because last week, just before the session, I went out to a shop to buy something, um, and I heard a lady say, "Being poor is better than being rich," and I was like, "Wow." Seriously, like I was like, I was just saying, Africa is poor by choice. That was the topic, and I was even explaining what the point was to Mika, and I was, doubtful to say, like, ah, like, should I just continue with this or should I not? And then I got a confirmation, just on the shop. Two ladies were talking in front of a shop, and the lady just said, "Being poor is nice. When you're poor, it's okay. You can sleep and stuff." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "What?" I was so surprised. Being poor is nice. And I was like, "Huh?" So it is true. It was a sign for me to go ahead with the point. Instead of asking the question, I made it a statement. Like, is Africa poor by choice? That was the idea of, the session of last week. But I changed it. Africa is poor by choice. We have to own up. This is the thing that we are told always, like, man up and take, take the blame for yourself. Don't blame it on anyone. Yes, we can point fingers at many grand agendas that are being let out there in the sky, trying to demonize us and trying to, clash us together so that we can collapse and depend on them still. But we chose to pull the trigger. You see, we chose to fight. We chose to kill each other. We chose. They gave us the weapons, but we chose. See, there's a saying,
Yes.
"Faras yadar salinji, I welcome." So, like, they are the horses that drove us to the war, but they're not the ones who pulled the trigger. We are the ones. We lack emotional maturity because our education system is crippled. We chose to kill each other instead of turning back the weapons that they gave us to them. At least that would have been better. There is no better war, but we didn't choose to attack them. We chose to accept the weapon, and we accepted the fact that it's like an angel coming to us and telling us, "Hey, you should do this because you're superior." And he goes back to the other one and says, "You should do this because you're superior. You deserve to be empowered." That's what it feels like that's what they were doing. So we chose to stay poor. I agree with that one too. but we also choose, like, our daily choices are to be poor because we're not working. Because Elon
Mhm.
Musk, I had a video of Elon Musk once. He said, you have 120, I think, when you multiply it, help me with the math. We have in a week, I think we have 165 hours. I think so. So 165 hours in a week. 24 times 7 is, yeah, 168 hours. So out of that, we work only 44 hours. There's 124 hours left. And then out of that, we sleep, let's say, 49 hours, because every day is 7 hours in 7 days. We're left with 75. Let's assume that we used 35 of the hour to spend with family, spouse, and children. Still, we're left with 40 hours. And when you ask someone if they really spend this 40 hours on productive or unproductive, we don't. We have to go to Europe to do that. We have to go to America to do that. No one is doing that here. No one is actually working extra hours. No one is going back home and doing something productive with their leftover time. Not no one, but many of our populations are not doing that. We believe in resting too much and talking too much. This is where we cut the edges and say, like, we're poor by choice, and we have to accept the fact that we're sleeping on treasure and begging for bread, a bread
Mhm.
that we should have been sending out to the world. So what do you say about that?
So now I just, when we
So
talk,
we
I was
need
just
to shorten our conversation time.
yes, yes. I think we need to sleep. That is
Mhm.
true.
Yeah.
Just I will just make
Okay.
one statement and I'll stop. So when you talk, I was just thinking how we come to to a point to choose poverty. Uh, so I was, we were in our previous histories. Africa was, if we look back 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, just to see Ethiopia. Ethiopia was a great nation, to like 1,200 years ago, or even 700 years ago, when we see the construction, when we go and visit, it was a great it was a great nation.
Yeah.
And just next to it, I visited Lalibela, and a very nice area. And just next to it, you know, if you see the houses, you don't believe what kind of houses people are living in. So I don't know how we came, because we were rich. We were, uh, I don't know now how we come to this point, but I believe that our stories, I just want to come back to the point of my mind today, to our stories. What kind of stories led us to choose poverty? For these women that you have been talking about, what made them choose that? What kind of stories do they hear that they choose poverty over being rich, or what makes them choose that choice? What stories? And when we accept that those weapons that you have been saying about, what were the stories behind? When we start killing each other, what were the stories that has been told to accept that, and to choose the fact of killing each other, and not enjoying our treasure? What kind of stories have we been told, to go abroad, to think Africa is a darker continent? We have no hope here, and our only hope is there outside. What are the stories? Those are, I think, the major points that we have to take when we think about our choices. What made us, you know, choose that choice in the first place? So thank you so much. I think I will join you most of the time, Ebenezer. I really really enjoyed you.
All right.
I think we will see each other in coming sessions.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you an assignment also when you before you leave. Just take this assignment. Ask these questions when you're sitting for a coffee with friends and families. I want you to just ask these questions. I believe in leaving a question in people, and then you make them work on those things, and they come up with the idea. Because if you give them, I don't want to give you the answer. What are the stories? I don't want to. I don't have the answer, and you don't have the answer. But what are the stories really that are leading there? I want you to take that as an assignment, and I want this also to be an assignment for Tanzan, an assignment for Sam, an assignment um for Mikias, who's here too. So I want you guys to take this as an assignment. Take it and ask people what make them choose these things. What makes them believe in those things? Because that's a good question that you asked there. What are the stories behind loving poverty? What are they? We really need to come up with the answer to that one. I want you to keep asking people when you're sitting for a coffee for something. Just ask them. Just leave a question. That's what I believe in. And Bemnet, thank you very much. I want you to join me and all the team. And we need all hands on deck. Like I said earlier, we need you. We need your ideas. We need your mind. Actually, we need also your expertise. So we want you to be part of this family, the Swahili Nation family, and One Africa
Yes.
family. So I want you to join in next week. We'll try to make it short next week. We'll try to make it fast. I'm gonna go into conversation with the person if I get the video ready by the time. If I don't, I will communicate maybe the other week. But the next week, I will try to get him on an interview. And if the editing is
Mhm.
done, I think I'll post it. It won't be that much. Then we'll have the discussion after the conversation that we have with him. We will have a discussion about it, about the education and the education system and the potential in Africa. And you can come up with any idea, Bemnet. Just WhatsApp me, and I will try to research on those ideas and bring them out here so that people can brainstorm over them and come with a strategy. Thank you, Bemnet. Stay
Okay,
blessed.
okay.
All
Yes,
right.
good night.
Good
Bye.
night. Okay. Bye. Mickey, if you have anything to say, you can say, and also I'm also summarizing the program, and so you can say something, and we can leave.
Yeah, the last thing I want to add is just I want us all to stay active on this because everybody can view potentials in everybody to different aspects. So we can use this today's topic theme in our day-to-day lives and create a lot of ideas and hold those ideas and share it every day on different topics. That's what I want to add. The
Good.
potential is the
All
main thing.
right. Okay. The same assignment for you. Um, we need uh, we need your help. We need Africa needs your help. As a team, we need you. We need you to be part of this family. And you're a marketing student, so you know how to market and how to brand. And this is time for Africa and African heroes to be branded as heroes, and we need expertise on this. So I want you to always be part of this. I want you to share this video with your friends, and like share it so that they can join in and contribute their different experience, different person. It means ideas coming in together. Then it gives us a chance to come up with a perfect strategy, because this is where we gather our information. You, Bemnet, Tanzan, everyone coming in gives us a strategy, and then we take that one, and we might not get to live to see those days, but our children will see it, and our uh, grandchildren will get to see One Africa in the future, or even we might get to see that one. So, Mikias, if you have something to say, you can add, but that's it from me today.
Uh, I just want to know how to contact you. Are you available on WhatsApp or how can
Yes,
I
I'm
reach
available.
out?
I'm just gonna text you my WhatsApp number in private chat. You can find me. Uh, Let me do that.
Okay.
Here it is, private chat. Or I can give you another number
Okay.
also here. So I have given you, did you find it?
Okay.
So, got
Okay.
it?
Appreciate it. Uh,
Did you receive the numbers?
yeah, I got it. Yeah.
All right. Those are my numbers. You can contact me on WhatsApp or Telegram, and we can share ideas and you can come up with a different perspective. And we can bring those topics and, shoot them out here to the people and to the family.
Okay.
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
Mikia. You
Have a
came.
good night. I'm
You
about to
too.
go. You too. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Have a good one.
All right. Thank you, Mikias. Thank you very much. All right. To all Swahili Nation family and One Africa family, I'd like to say thank you for this session and thank you for the amazing participation in the comment section, in the private chat, and also in live stream. Bemnet, Mikias, and Tanzan, thank you for being part of it. Sam, thank you. Still, you're consistent, and thank you very much. I would expect to see you on live show. And Marit is also still have been supportive, even though she didn't come live. Um, Sam has been coming with ideas. What made them ever think their way? This is exactly what the Banda did. Okay, all right. Watching the Hawks is saying greetings to all. All right. So Sam, you have been contributing a lot, and yeah, it's been an amazing. Thank you, Sam, Mike, Africa Unite. Appreciate it, Sam, Ebenezer. Thanks, brother. It was a wonderful stream. Thank you very much. You guys made it a reality, and I would like to thank all of you. And before I close, I will close in with prayer, and just gonna do it. Thank you, God, for this amazing stream, and thank you for a productive day, and bless us and give us a new way, a new road to travel at, and a new perspective through this week until we meet again. We pray in Jesus' name, Amen. And that's it from me, Swelly Nation Network. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and comment. And also, if you have different ideas, please comment, share it in the comment section. Then we can do it. We can do your ideas. We can bring your topic to be live, and you can be part of it. You can be part of the comment section. You can be part of the live show, and you can do the show together with us. You can be part of it. So if there's anyone you would like us to interview concerning potential in Africa, potential in Ethiopia, potential in Kenya, let us know and give us a contact, and we'll do that for you. And see you all on tomorrow's session, the day after tomorrow's session. But for me, this is one of my days, Thursday. Join me every Thursday. And until we meet on next Thursday, God bless. Stay safe.